but also a good hang with him. Later, we got our chat with Anne Hathaway on her new limited series called We Crash. But first, as usual, here's today's pop star. First up, Selena Gomez and pop star. The singer and actress is reviving an 80s classic for the small screen. She's currently working on a new series that's based on the classic John Hughes 16 Candles. And here's the twist. The half-hour comedy is going to be called 15 Candles. And it's set to follow a group of young Latinas approaching their quinceañeras. Oh. Gomez, no stranger to streaming. You might remember that she executive produced Netflix's hit series, 13 Reasons Why. She also stars in Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. No release date yet on the latest project, but it seems like a great idea, and it's set to stream on Peacock. Lucky us. Next up, Schitt's Creek. Now, I have not seen the show, so bear with me.
It's so good.
I know, but I have 4 kids. Who remembers Moira Rose's fruit wine commercial?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Moira Rose, and if you love fruit wine as much as I do, then you'll appreciate the craftsmanship and quality of a local vintner who brings the muskmelon goodness to his oak Chardonnay.
Well, good news for anybody who's dreamed of being a part of the Herbert Linger wine tasting. Next year, a fan cruise for the beloved sitcom is hitting the high seas. That's right. Setting sail in March. The voyage is called Moira's Party Boat. Ew, cruising.
Ew.
Okay, thank you. While bring together diehard fans from all around the world for a weekend of costume contest, trivia, and dance parties. Unfortunately, no cast appearances are in the itinerary, but the boat's going to be packed with Johnny and David's. Does that make sense? Johnny and David. As guests are being encouraged to dress as their favorite character. This will be. So, as Alexis would say, we love this journey.
You read that well.
That makes sense?
You enjoy the show.
This I know about, rock and roll and smoking cigarettes. Keith Richards is up next. The Rolling Stones rocker opening up. He kicked a 55-year-long habit. In a recent interview, Richards saying that he's given up smoking, and he did it a couple years ago, and he doesn't miss it at all.
Wow.
Which is good. 78-year-old legendary musician also noting that he felt like he had, quote, 10 times more wind when he was rehearsing for the Stones' No Filter tour that started last August. Richards also says he's got a lot more air in the lungs and in the voice, more stamina, living proof that it is never too late to kick a bad habit.
Excellent.
All right, next up, Encanto. Have you heard Waiting on a Miracle from the soundtrack? If you have kids, you probably have. In case you missed it, here's a little bit of it. I don't know where it is on the track listing we don't talk about Bruno, but or Surface Pressure, but it's up there. It's one of the big songs on it. That's the actress Stephanie Beatrice, who plays Mirabelle, singing that. And when she went to record it, she was in labor.
Wait, wow.
Yeah, while in the recording, she told Variety magazine that she was having contractions during the studio session of recording that song. And she didn't want to tell anybody in production because she didn't want them to freak out. She told Variety, I was like, well, fingers crossed, I'll finish the song before the baby comes.
Oh, my goodness.
And she did, barely. Her daughter, Rosaline, was born the very next day.
I saw her last night, and the Disney exec on stage.
No kidding?
They were accepting an award for Encanto, and they went on and on to thank her for her.
having
That's
We're getting through the song.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. Wow.
In labor, water breaking, finish the track.
Can you imagine?
right.
Wow. No.
No, can't imagine.
No.
And finally, our special pop star guest, Dylan, who's here with a sneak peek of her upcoming children's book. It's called Misty the Cloud, Friends Through Rain or Shine. Dylan,
What?
we're so excited about the next chapter in the Misty the Cloud series. What is little Misty up to this time?
Well, it's time to introduce you to some of Misty's friends. And we kind of relate weather to feelings and things that kids are going through. We always talk about a mix of sun and clouds. Well, sometimes they don't mix all that well, and it takes some sharing of the sky, some compromise, just like kids kids have to go through. And Claire and Tyler, they're the humans in this series, and they have to share a birthday because their birthdays aren't that far apart, so they share a party. So it's just a lot of fun. It's compromise. It's what happens when you do compromise. Beautiful things happen. You mix some rain and some sun, and what do you get?
You get a bomb cycle.
A rainbow.
What's that thing you call?
Bomb cycle. You get a rainbow. You get a rainbow.
A rainbow. You get a rainbow.
You get a rainbow. Yes, much more friendly than a bomb cyclone.
Are these tales from your parenting?
Maybe one day. Yeah. It's more tales from like my meteorology brain, because I'm like, how can we work in a rainbow? And in the back of the book, we like to do the science, and there's experiments how you can make a rainbow at home. The science behind how a rainbow forms, but it's also told in the backdrop of this nice little story.
My kids are huge fans of the first Misty.
you.
We can't wait for the next one.
I love
You guys are all authors. It's got to be cool to read your own kid your book.
Yeah.
It's fun, especially when the kid likes the book, and they say again and again.
They do like
Yes,
it? Okay.
Ollie kind of has it memorized.
Misty the Cloud, Friends Through Rain or Shine. Hit shelf September 13th. By the way, it's available now for pre-order, and to find out more, go to today.com/shop. Now a few extra headlines, because it is Popstart Plus. And we'll start with Coldplay. On Tuesday, the band released a new music video for their single, People of the Pride. And in it, the Grammy winners are dropped into a futuristic cartoon. Here's a sneak peek.
It's just work, it's not easy, and we could all be blown apart. But heaven is a fire escape, you try to cling to in the dark. It's just work.
All right, you can check out that song, People of the Pride, on Coldplay's latest album, Music of the Spheres. Finally, Dierks Bentley. Great vocals must run in the family for the country singer, because in a recent performance at Houston Rodeo, Dierks brought up his 13-year-old daughter, Evie. They did a little on-stage work, a duet of ZZ Top's Gimme All Your Lovin'. Take a look. Cute moment. Maybe next time they'll wear the fake big beards for ZZ Top. Those are your Popstart headlines. Coming up next, Josh Peck pulls the curtain back on growing up in the spotlight.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Popstart Plus. Actor Josh Peck was only 8 when his career started. He was performing at comedy clubs in New York City. Later, he found a home with Nickelodeon and the cast on All That and The Amanda Show before landing his starring role in the beloved Drake and Josh. Now, back in 2004, that's when that all started. He's got a new memoir out now, and he spoke to our own Joe Fryer about all the highs and lows in his life, including struggling with various addictions.
The first thing we'll do is title of your book is Happy People Are Annoying. Why are happy people annoying?
Oh man, I mean, just look at them. They don't obsessively check their phone. They have the right amount of items in the 12 items or less line at the grocery store. No, they're just, really, abiding by the social contract. Growing up, I just assumed that happiness, or what I thought happiness was sort of reserved for an elite class, right? Like the quarterbacks and the generationally wealthy and attractive people. And I assumed that I just didn't receive the same manual to navigate life that everyone else got at birth. So in writing this book, it was sort of about coming to terms with that idea and what I had to face to find my own version of happiness and define it for myself.
Let's talk about just some of the things that are in the book, including growing up you were raised by a single mother, and you describe your relationship as a scrappy startup. What does that mean?
You know, the fact that I was an only child with a single mom, growing up where I would see people with, let's just call it a more traditional family setup, it seemed like the siblings were sort of the employees, and then the parents were upper management, sort of, you know, beckoning down orders from their office. But the nature of my mom and I being just the two of us, and that I don't think it's anything new that single parents having to sort of not only raise a kid on their own, but provide, you know, we certainly went through some financially insecure periods. We were just constantly having to pivot and adapt. And I had this deep-seated, you know, feeling of love and that I was a value because my mom was so there for me. And yet I think I was certainly exposed early on to the idea of like, you know, life's not exactly a piece of cake all the time.
Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the son of a single parent. I was born during the Great Depression. My mother's...
I mean, you were doing stand-up comedy when you were 8, right?
Yes, it wasn't going to be Little League because my cardiovascular was just not up to par at that age. I was really in the fruit roll-up and Gushers, and I was heavy on the fruit snacks. I'm not gonna lie, Joe, but yeah, I found my first agent from Backstage magazine when I was 9 years old. I don't know how it came into my possession, and I went and interviewed with him, and he said I get young stand-ups time at like legit clubs in New York, Stand Up New York, Gotham, Carolines. If you can put an act together, I'll get you up. And a week later, I was performing at Caroline's Comedy Club. And from then on, I was sneaking into the back of most comedy clubs in New York so that they wouldn't lose their liquor license.
I was about to say, does that seem right?
Probably not, but you know, much of my story doesn't seem right.
You have this quote that I really like. It's the reason why people are funny is usually not funny. Talk more about that.
Sure. I think that my comedy came as a defense mechanism for growing up overweight. And I basically just felt real or imagined that I walk into most rooms at that age and at my weight at a disadvantage, that people made a snap judgment about me, that I was, you know, slothful or lacked willpower or something. And that it was incumbent on me to sort of not necessarily even stand out. I just wanted to be on the same level as everyone else.
You were in all these shows, All That, The Amanda Show, eventually Drake and Josh. You described it as kind of just a job, but talk more about what that experience was like.
Well, it was an incredible job. And it was the thing that the kind of comedy and acting that I loved doing. I mean, growing up, All That, which for anyone who doesn't know was sort of like Saturday Night Live for kids, was the holy grail. It was my biggest dream. So to then get an offer to do The Amanda Show and a year later to have my own show with Drake was really special. And yet it was a kid show and there was no social media. And so it was certainly popular to the demographic that it was made for, like 8 to 12-year-olds, but only in the last 5 years with social media and just how memeable it is, and the fact that kids television doesn't pay residuals, so they read a lot. Like, I feel like it's become so much more a part of the lexicon because so many generations have now experienced it. But at that time, I would do this really cool job, and then I'd go home and watch hockey with my best friend Len at our, 2-bedroom apartment complex.
You mentioned the struggles you had with weight when you were young, and then in front of really all of our eyes, we saw you lose, 100 pounds or more? I mean, what did you make of the way the public responded to that weight loss, which everyone was seeing firsthand and talking about?
It was, I imagine it must be odd for people who have watched this person that they sort of fell in love with this look and this size, and suddenly there's this massive sort of shift. So when I did lose the weight, there was certainly a small contingent that thought, oh, you were funnier when you were fat, or you took away this guy who we loved, and we're not so sure if we love this new guy. So that was very odd to navigate.
And we'll have more with Josh coming up, including what he's learned from his past struggle with substance abuse. That's next.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back now with more of Joe Fryer's very honest conversation with actor Josh Peck. With more than 2 million Twitter followers, and in his new memoir, he reveals his past relationship with drugs, what happened there, and how he has since recovered.
As a kid, it was food that maybe helped provide an escape for you. As you got older, it was substances, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's sort of any surprise that after I lost 100 pounds and I imagined that I was at this finish line and that my life could begin, that I quickly realized that I was in the same head, but with a different body. And so I was also 18 and supremely stupid and looking to sow my wild oats and maybe make up for some lost time where I'd held myself back, feeling insecure in my body. That when I sort of discovered drugs and alcohol, it quickly satisfied that itch that had presented itself when I lost weight but didn't have the same medicine. And I say it was like I traded in my Prius for a Ferrari with no brakes. It just was so much more efficacious, but with less calories. And I proceeded for the next 3 or 4 years to really kind of almost set my life on fire, just ruining relationships and putting myself in danger and inevitably just sort of breaking my mom's heart on a regular basis. So it was quick, all things considered. You know, I was luckily able to get sober when I turned 21, but at the moment it felt like an eternity.
What do you think also helped you get sober? Because obviously it's much, much easier said than done.
For me, you know, I've really benefited from 12-step. There's a lot of ways to recover, but that way worked for me and I still do it, you know, knock wood 14 years later. And it's just, you know, it's opened me up to a lot of avenues of growth.
Did falling in love help?
Oh, certainly. Basically, my wife has helped me in all avenues of my life. She's great. She censors me in all the right ways. She's pretty outstanding. I'm very happy and incredibly lucky. And now we have a kid and we own a home together. So it's going to be incredibly hard for her to leave me. It'll just be so much paperwork.
Being a dad, I mean, what does that mean for you, and how much do you think of the fact that it's so important to be a good father to your son, knowing that you grew up without having a father?
I never met my dad, and he passed away in my mid-20s. And having a child, and especially a boy, for someone like me feels like this sort of cosmic comeuppance. It feels like the opportunity for me to right what's been a bad cycle that was sort of started by my dad and could have been perpetuated through me. And the truth is, we don't always get the amends that we deserve from the people who've hurt us, but sometimes we give ourselves that amends by not passing that trauma on to the next generation. And so in me being, for my son, the father that I always wanted, I feel like I'm sort of making that amends to myself. And I just love hanging out with him. It's great.
Dare I ask, are you a happy person now?
Yeah, you know what? I'm happy adjacent. Yes, absolutely. But also, as I talk about in the book, like, I'm less concerned with happy and I'm more into content, and I'm more than content.
And you're not annoying, right?
Oh, I'm certainly annoying. Just ask Twitter.
Well, we certainly hope people find some inspiration from Josh's story and appreciate him telling it to Joe Fryer. In his book, Happy People Are Annoying. That's a great title. It is available today. Still to come, we're going to turn to another talented actor. That is the lovely Anne Hathaway and her she's going to tell us about her gripping new limited series next.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. In the new Apple TV Plus limited series called We Crashed, Anne Hathaway stars as the wife of WeWork co-founder Adam Neumann. And she told us what it was like playing the real-life woman who contributed to the rise and fall of one of the world's most valuable startups.
Oscar winner Anne Hathaway has been delighting audiences ever since her breakout success in The Princess Diaries. And more than 20 years, she is a force in Hollywood. Her latest project, We Crashed. It's a new limited series on Apple TV Plus. It's inspired by actual events. It tells the story of the rise and seismic fall of the WeWork startup and the love story at the center of it all. Take a look.
The feng shui, it's off.
Totally off.
You know, you walk in and you just feel like claustrophobic.
Absolutely.
So I just want to go up, blow it out. Finally got something to breathe.
First thing I thought when I walked in, open it up.
That's what it needs. It needs just...
Rise and grind! Rise and grind! Yes!
Feel free to look around. I imagine you need measurements, etc. Yes, my love.
I'll meet you in the car.
Okay, you sure you're ready?
Yes, of course, onward.
My love, you're not wearing a shirt.
Anne Hathaway. Anne, good morning.
Good morning.
How
wonderful to see
you. I have to say, I'm just so delighted that you're sitting here. You're in person. We're together.
We're together. We went real deep just during the commercial
10 seconds
break.
before
we both started crying.
We were having a little moment. You know what? The pandemic, though, has taught a lot of lessons to all of us.
Yeah.
You had a new baby during the pandemic.
did.
That was one of the beautiful moments. But what did it teach you? What did you learn about yourself?
Well, that's what we were talking about during the break. Was I was saying that, you know, how it's so significant to be back here with people. And I have to say that in moments like this, I really used to let my nerves get the best of me. I'm still a human being. Sometimes they creep up. But I just, during the pandemic, went, you can't give your life away anymore.
No.
You can't give your life away to that. You got to find a way through. You got to be okay with whoever you are in that moment, because you don't want to miss anymore.
That's it. We've learned that. And
I hope so. And we're going to keep learning it. You know, it's not...
I like your vulnerability. I feel like you say what you feel. And I was watching an interview you did yesterday, and one of the comments you said, it was you were having fun with the story, but you said, I'm not the most confident person.
No.
And that struck me because I think people would look at you and say, wow, she's won an Oscar. She's got a great family. She's got, all those things. But confidence doesn't necessarily, that does not equate often.
No. That doesn't necessarily show up in the DNA.
Yeah.
And it's something I think it's something you have to learn. It's something you have to just figure out how to be at peace with yourself. Because like I said, it's your life.
Yeah, and you've got to live it on your terms. By the way, do you love being a mom of two?
Oh, of course.
Come on.
Of
What's
course,
the best part
it's so
of two?
delicious.
Yes, what is it?
And my 2-year-old right now, he says, delicious.
Oh my God.
Mommy, delicious.
What has your family, how has it affected the way your professional life works? I know mine changed completely.
Oh my, I mean, I'm sure you understand this.
Yeah.
It's just logistics.
Mm-hmm.
How are we doing? What are we doing? Who needs what? And do we have a sandwich?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
whole thing.
Snacks.
And but it's, I mean, for me, it's just going back to what I was talking about. Also, there's so much joy. I feel like they bring an innate purpose to everything.
Yes.
And I mean, I could go on about it, but it also leaves me a little speechless. I
love that.
And I just want to say, I just feel really lucky. It's something I've always wanted, and I'm just so lucky that it happened to me.
Let's talk about your project, which is fascinating. You worked with Jared Leto, who,
Yes.
by the way, you said when you met him on the set and you shot for 6 months, the guy never broke character during the entire period?
Not once. I've never seen anything like it.
Wait, so what about did you ever have a meal with him, and was he still that person?
No. He, I was fascinated by his process. I'm a really, and I have one that's really receptive, and I just, and I think that especially in a story like the one we're telling, where we're playing two people wildly in love, we had to build a certain connection and culture between us. And so if that's what worked for him, then it worked for me. And whenever we needed to discuss practical things like, how a scene was going to work, I wouldn't call him Jared, I would call him Motek. And he wouldn't call me Annie, he would call me Rivka. And so we kind of had those pet names for each other that were our characters' pet names. And we just opened to each other. It was, and then in between takes, there wasn't a lot of chit chat, but we were always connected. And it was such a beautiful experience, I have to say. I was really inspired working with him.
And what do you hope people take from this? Because this is a fascinating story. I only knew the very small layer of it.
Well, the thing that we were hoping to do with the series was to show that these are human beings. And I want to make that very clear, is that there is no judgment of these people, and especially no judgment from me towards Rebecca. I recognize I'm a human being and she is a human being, and for me, what a human being is, we're a mixture of admirable traits, and we're also, we got to work on ourselves, and there's things that we're always working on. And so, there's been a documentary, there's been books, we know the story.
Yes.
So this was an opportunity to look at how people, and everything I heard about Rebecca was that she authentically meant everything that she said. What happens when someone, I don't know, isn't quite able to practice what they preach yet.
That's well put. This is fascinating. I think people are going to love it. You are fantastic in it. Jared is too. Annie, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, so good to see
I know.
you.
Holding hands in person. We want everyone to know We Crashed premieres this Friday on Apple TV+.
Always great catching up with Anne Hathaway. We appreciate her time. Thanks for watching another terrific Popstar Plus. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, we've got one of the stars of the new film, Cyrano. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
All day?
Today, all day.
All day.
This is a long way of
man,
asking
yeah,
who's your favorite
okay.
character you've ever played?
The
unicorn.
The unicorn. You gotta have the unicorn.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for Consumer Confidential. I'm Vicki Nguyen. The headlines can be troubling. A recent spike in violence across the country. In New York City alone, NYPD's recent data shows crime is up 38% overall this year. Shootings have risen 32%. Transit crime, that's up 70%. And car thefts, those have jumped a staggering 93%. Several other cities also reporting a major spike in carjackings, including Minneapolis, where it's up 63% and 85% in Philadelphia. Now, these numbers can shatter our sense of security. That's why for the next 25 minutes, we're focusing on personal safety and protection. Learn simple ways to protect your property without spending a lot of money. As we start planning spring and summer vacations, what can you do to make sure thieves don't know you're gone? Plus, what to look for when you're shopping for one of those popular doorbell cameras, and some basic self-defense techniques so you can escape an attacker. But first, how to navigate potentially dangerous encounters during everyday activities, from commuting to shopping. A spate of recent violent crimes caught on tape. In Philadelphia, this man pulls a woman out of her car and takes off, leading to a wild chase that ends on foot, where police finally arrest him. In Chicago, two men approach a woman and push her up against a wall. Police say they stole her belongings and ran off. In San Jose, California, police say this man breaks the windows, snatches a purse from a woman sitting inside, and takes off in a getaway car. FBI data shows assaults and vehicle theft have increased from 2014 to 2020. So how can you protect yourself in some everyday scenarios? I enlist the help of former NYPD detective Mike Sapriconi, who is now the president of Squad Security. So here we are in a shopping center. What do we need to be aware of?
You want to be in a place close to the location you're going.
And park next to a lamppost, especially during the winter when it gets dark earlier. So, Mike, I feel like a common time that you're vulnerable is when you're just getting back from the store, you're distracted, you're putting things in your car. What do we need to know here?
Pay attention, look at your surroundings, put the things in your car as quickly as possible, check around, make sure there's nobody else watching you or observing you.
What if someone comes up and they want my purse?
Give it to them.
No fighting.
Don't fight, never fight. Give them your purse, let them take your purse.
What should I do when it comes to my car keys?
I would put them in my pocket along with your phone on your person,
Okay.
rather than put them in the purse, because if they snatch your purse, at least you still have a way to get out of here with your car.
Cities across the country have reported spikes in violent carjackings. Watch this incident in broad daylight in the middle of New York City. Carjackings last year up 55% in New York, 63% in Minneapolis, and 85% in Philadelphia. It might sound counterintuitive, but some experts say part of the reason carjackings are increasing has to do with the fact that cars are more secure now than ever before. You've probably seen it in the movies. Thieves starting a car like this.
Oh my God, you know how to hotwire a car?
But nowadays, new cars rely on key fobs, and that makes it a lot harder for thieves to get away unless they have this. Remember to keep your car doors locked, even while driving. Mike says make sure your windows are up high enough that someone can't reach in. Mike, let's say I'm stopped and some people come up and they try to carjack me. What do I need to know?
Always give them the car. Unless you have your children in the back seat or something, give them the car. It's not worth it.
Mike, it's cold out. A lot of people like to warm up the car before they get in, or they leave it running because they're going to go in the store real quick. What say you?
No, definitely not. No value to doing that. It's an opportunity. When the thieves see the smoke coming, that's like a smoke alarm coming to them and saying, hey, there's a car, let's take it.
As for public transit, Mike says stay vigilant. He investigated many crimes where thieves targeted distracted riders. He says the risk starts when you enter. Be careful on the stairs, an easy place for pickpockets to snatch your valuables from behind.
Vicki, I just got your phone. Your bag was wide open, you weren't paying attention, and it was so easy for me to just grab your phone out of your bag.
So what should I do?
Pay attention, move your bag to the front, lock your bag, and be aware of somebody walking behind you on the steps.
Mike, what about this? A lot of times people are commuting, they put earbuds in.
Bad idea. It just takes away one of your senses. You should never have something that can't let you hear everything that's going around you.
avoid the temptation to stand near the track and pay attention to anyone coming into your personal space. You know, people have a tendency, they want to see when the train's coming, they get close to the edge. What do you say about that?
Step aside. Always step back. Stay 6 feet off the yellow. The yellow's there for a reason.
When it's time to board, try to ride in the car with the conductor. In New York City, they always pull up to these zebra stripes. All right, Mike, so we get on the train. Where's the safest place to sit?
I would always think the middle is the safest place, not by a door.
Okay.
Because if you sit by a door, somebody can be lingering or they're watching you as the door's open, they could snatch your bag.
What if the train's crowded, there's no seats?
Hold the pole, get by a pole in the middle of the train, and put your purse between your body and the pole.
Oh, okay. Some good reminders to help you stay alert and safe. Our thanks to Mike for that. And a bonus tip, if you are riding public transit in most cities, sit in the front car. That is often where the train operator is located. And when you're parking at a mall, look for that security booth in the parking lot. Try to find a spot near the guard shack. Coming up, it was made to keep track of your belongings, from keys to purses, but some have reported Apple's popular AirTags have been used for stalking. What you need to know. And later, simple things you can do to beef up security at home without breaking the bank. Consumer Confidential, coming right back.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
A warning now about popular tracking devices from Apple. They're called AirTags, and they track the locations of common items like your keys and your wallets. But people across the country have reported being stalked by strangers. We took one out to see how it can happen.
I was at the bar alone.
Model Brooks Nader was at a crowded bar in Manhattan when she says someone dropped an Apple AirTag into her coat pocket. The device, roughly the size of a quarter, links to a cell phone through the Find My app, designed to help you track your things. But now it's being linked to concerns about safety and privacy.
When I was almost home, I got this notification on my home screen pop up saying that I was being tracked, and I had been for a while now. Which is basically when I knew something wasn't right.
Nader estimates the AirTag was in her pocket for 5 hours. The device's owner able to track her every move before she got that alert.
I also didn't know what an AirTag was or anything like that. So I was definitely worried and concerned.
And Nader isn't alone.
Okay, so I think I'm being tracked.
On social media, others reporting finding random AirTags.
I was being informed that there has been an AirTag that has been following me.
Tucked in right here.
Law enforcement agencies across the country are also warning these AirTags can be used to track cars, allowing criminals to steal the vehicles once they're parked overnight.
It's literally been like tracking her car.
To show you how these AirTags work, I'm teaming up with investigative producer Joe Enoch. Joe, what do you got?
Vicky, I got my AirTag.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in your purse.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Bye.
Bye. I hit the streets of New York City with Joe watching me from his desk. First stop, gotta warm up, get something to drink.
Must be time for a coffee break.
Able to see the exact stores I go in.
Vicky is definitely doing some shopping at Sephora.
Will it work in the subway? All right, here we go, underground. Anywhere there's a cell signal, Joe can see the AirTag in my bag, moving with me.
Vicky is really moving now. My guess, She's on the subway.
Taxi ride.
One last stop.
Finally, time to head to lunch.
Joe's not far behind, using his phone to track my location.
It looks like it's just right up here on the right.
The device leading him right to me.
Whoa! Hey, you found, oh my gosh.
Right there.
There, wow. You
Yep.
pinpointed me right to my table.
Exactly.
All with this little guy here.
It was easy.
If you had slipped this in without telling me, I would have had no clue that you were following my every move.
Scary.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
I didn't receive a warning notification until I got home.
It is now 4 hours after Joe put the tag in my purse, and I just got the alert that there was an AirTag somewhere near me.
Apple says those alerts make it harder for AirTags to go undetected. The company also updated the AirTags to sound this alarm if they're away from their owners for 8 to 24 hours. In a statement, Apple says, "We take customer safety very seriously and are committed to AirTag's privacy and security. AirTag is designed with a set of proactive features to discourage unwanted tracking, a first in the industry, that both inform users if an unknown AirTag might be with them and deter bad actors from using an AirTag for nefarious purposes."
Now, this is important. Experts say if you get that alert or you find an AirTag in your belongings, don't go home. That could reveal where you live. Instead, go immediately to your local police department or a public place and then call police and ask them to meet you. Apple told us they will work with law enforcement to help track down the actual owner of the AirTag. Now, following our report, Apple did make some changes to its AirTag. Joining us now to talk about that and much more is tech expert and Tom's Guide global editor-in-chief, Mark Spoonauer. Mark, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with these changes that Apple made. I don't think they anticipated that bad guys would use their AirTags in this way, but we saw what can happen. So what are they doing about it?
Yeah, in a way, they've made tracking almost too easy, right? Not just for items, but for people. So what they've promised is that they're going to be rolling out some changes later this year. I wish we actually had a timetable for those changes, but they're important, and they're threefold. So first, the sound of the alerts will actually get louder. That's one of the complaints that we had in our initial review, is that it was just too faint, especially if it's underneath a couch. So what about a car?
Right, exactly. You won't hear it.
Exactly. So the second change is that it's going to be easier and faster. The time element is really key to get those alerts, because it can't be hours that pass, it needs to be minutes. And the last thing is precision finding. So the same feature that's available to you and I using augmented reality and the live camera view, so you'll get an exact location of where that AirTag is using the camera and arrows that direct you directly to it.
Wow, really interesting. Well, it's good to see that they are doing something, and I think that makes people feel a lot better. So what are some of the things that people can do to take advantage of other types of personal technology, like our phones, to help make us safer?
Well, I think the number one thing is that if you're using your phone right now, turn off location services if you don't need it. And there are some apps that say use it only while using the app.
Right,
or
like Google Maps.
Right, or all the time in the background. And I would say turn that off. Don't use that unless you absolutely need it. There are ways to share your location with family and friends and specialized apps for that, which is fine, but I would turn that off. The other thing is I would turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth if you don't need it, because there are other vectors for potential attacks that you don't want to activate. But the other important thing that people don't realize is that your phone itself can be an SOS beacon, right? So look at the SOS features that are built into the iPhone and Samsung phones, for example. So you just press the side button and slide to activate it on the iPhone. On Samsung, you just press the power button a few times to activate it there. And don't just know how to activate the feature, make sure that you fill out your emergency contacts on your iPhone or Samsung device to make sure that when that ping is sent out, it's not just going to law enforcement. As soon as you hang up with 911, your family members will also be notified. So set that up on your phone.
Oh, that's really good. And turning off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth can help save your battery too. So that's a good tip. Let's talk about doorbells. What should people know before they invest in a doorbell camera?
Well, number one is that the video quality is definitely getting better, but there's certain features that you need to look for when you're buying a video doorbell. One is look at the aspect ratio and how wide the viewing angle is.
Wider is better?
Yeah, so wider is better, but also taller.
Okay.
So you want to be able to look at packages as they're delivered and other things that are there, and some people can try to duck down when you're using your doorbell camera. So make sure you have an ultra wide viewing angle and also make sure that it's tall. The other thing is make sure that you're signing up for the video storage online. And if you can, make sure that you have a battery backup as well as local storage if it's available to you as an option, because you don't want to necessarily have to rely on the cloud.
Got it. So you have two places that video that may be valuable in case a crime is committed to find it.
Yeah, and the last thing is make sure that you're looking for package detection, because these cameras are getting smarter. It used to be the case that if a leaf would blow by, you would get an alert.
Right.
But now they're smart enough to recognize pets, faces, and packages. So look for a doorbell that has all of these features built in.
And quickly now, when it comes to security, what apps do you recommend?
I mean, there's a bunch out there that we like, but one that is really good is called Noonlight. And it's a personal safety app, and it's almost like a panic button on your phone. It's very
Noonlight?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's very easy to use. So all you have to do is just press that button. It's almost like a security system on the go, right?
Oh, wow.
The authorities and police will be notified, and they'll go directly to your location, and your friends and family will be notified. Plus, there's this timeline feature built in, so that let's say you're going on a Tinder date, you can actually fill out that information, and then your friends and family will be contacted, and they'll have that context in terms of where you were supposed to be versus where you are.
Learned so much. Mark Spoonhour, thank you so much for coming in and sharing all your expertise. Really appreciate it. And up next, simple moves to help you escape an encounter with a would-be attacker. But first, when we come back, how to make your home less attractive to thieves, even when you're on vacation. You're watching Consumer Confidential.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Now, a closer look at home security across the country. Caught on camera, brazen crooks smashing windows, knocking down doors, even impersonating police officers. These cases can make us feel vulnerable. With spring break right around the corner, you may be traveling or leaving your home unattended, but there are some easy ways to protect your space from thieves.
From coast to coast, home security camera footage released by police captures burglars in action. In New York City, these crooks posed as police officers to get inside, overpower the homeowners, and walk off with $130,000 in cash and jewelry. In Phoenix, burglars deploy a battering ram to break in. In Los Angeles, a mother and her baby followed home and robbed in their driveway. And in Beverly Hills, 81-year-old philanthropist Jacqueline Avant, wife of famed music executive Clarence Avant, shot dead in her home. Police apprehended and later charged this suspect, who also attempted to break into another nearby home. Though national statistics show burglaries are in decline, these cases can shatter our sense of security.
While it can be scary to think about these crimes, there are simple steps you can take to prevent the criminals from targeting you and your home.
I enlist the help of Mike Sapriconi. He's a former NYPD detective with 16 years of experience. He's now the president of Squad Security, a global security firm.
Mike, when it comes to these bad guys breaking in, what's the first thing we should know?
Well, these are crimes of opportunities, so we want to make it as difficult as possible for them to come to your home and break in.
What's the most common way criminals get into someone's home?
Basic things, checking doors, checking windows. They're going to look for something that might be open, unlocked, like this. If it's locked, they're going to move on.
Mike says breaking windows and doors can alert neighbors, and many criminals will move on if there isn't a convenient way in.
Another common thing people do, they hide the key under the doormat or maybe nearby the front door.
Anywhere in proximity to the door, they're going to check. Don't do it.
If you have a security system, Mike says to occasionally call your company to make sure the software and equipment are up to date. No alarm system? He says a video doorbell can be a cheaper alternative. These days, many of us also rely on delivery services, so our packages can pile up.
We all know about porch pirates, but this is also a key that no one's home at all. The more things you leave out, more people are going to know you're not home.
Got to get these inside quickly.
Always, quick as possible.
What if you have to go on vacation and you're going to leave your home empty?
You want to make your home feel as secure as possible, so you want to always try to do as much as you can to make that person, the burglar, think someone's home. You want to maybe leave lights on, put some shades down. You want to be able to not have somebody be able to look into your window and see that nobody's around.
And if you park your car outside,
keep your car doors locked, because if you have an automatic garage door opener programmed inside, it'll work even if there are no keys.
Mike says thieves sometimes strike right when you get home. So look around before getting out of your car. Be aware of your surroundings and avoid talking and texting on your phone.
Let's say you come home and something's not right. The door is open, a window's open. What should you do?
Step back for a minute. Call 911, get to a safe place, give them a description, what you saw. Don't go inside.
So what happens, Mike, if you're inside and someone breaks in?
Don't confront them. Step back, give them whatever they're asking for, is usually property. Get a really good description, and then when the opportunity comes, call the police once you're safe.
Mike, again, with those great tips. And don't forget about the items you leave outside around the house. A spade can be used to smash a window. A ladder can be used to get into your second floor. So clean up those tools. Also, if you are going away, ask a friend or a neighbor to pick up your mail, or you can also request the post office to put it on hold while you're gone. Well, next up, we're going to be hanging out with two black belts. When we come back, learn some self-defense moves to help you get out of a potentially dangerous run-in.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
There are some simple things you can do if you ever find yourself in a dangerous encounter. We're all geared up. The key really here is to give yourself enough time to make a run for it. To help us with all of that, martial arts instructors Cherise King and Adam Ladd, thank you both for being here. You're a second-degree black belt. Adam, you're a fifth-degree black belt. Combined, you have more than 50 years of experience. Okay, so Cherise, let me start with you. Not all of us can have this kind of experience, but what if you are just a beginner and you want to stay safe and just some basic tips to keep yourself safe when you're out there?
All right, some basic things you want to think about when you're outside is just being aware. Being aware is one of the things that if you just know your surroundings, you kind of see things happening, right? Like when I'm on a train, I'm always looking around. Somebody comes on, I want to see what kind of bag you're holding. If you look suspicious, I'll leave the train. I'll go to the next cart, right? So just being aware, if you're on the train, having your back against the wall, not standing on the edge of the platform. I see a lot of people that just kind of like to wait on the edge. I just don't understand it. Right? I like to keep my back so I can, no one's behind me, right? We're getting a lot of people lately getting pushed. So those are some things that can really save your life or save you.
Be aware of who's in your personal space. Don't have your head buried in a phone, for example. What about kids, Adam? You work with a lot of young students. What do you teach them?
You have to make a scene. If someone picks you up and takes you, you got to say, this is not my mom, this is not my dad, and just be loud, make a scene, make sure people are looking at you. And then keep that contact with your parents, right? A lot of kids like to walk around with their head in their screens, and they kind of lose that touch with their parents, and keeping that contact keeps that form of awareness as well, like Sharice was saying, is being aware of your surroundings. Same thing, take your head out of the phone, take your head out of the iPad.
Yeah, and practice that with your kids, right? Practice yelling or breaking away?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to do some practicing too. Sharice, let's say someone does get a hold of you. What are some techniques for getting away?
So some basic techniques, say someone grabs you, right? They grab you with one hand, right? You want to work against the thumb. All you got to do is just pull out the thumb. Pull out.
Really? Okay, just pull out your thumb?
Pull your arm out. Go,
pull out of the thumb.
Look at that.
So that's a weak point in your hand, the thumb.
Yeah, that's a weak point.
Got it, okay.
Right? Or if someone, say they grab you two hands.
Right.
Now you're like, okay, I can't pull out with just one. Grab your own fist. Grab
my own fist.
Now pull out.
Oh, okay, so use my own body weight to help.
Another thing, like someone grabs you, right? I grab you.
That's pretty easy.
I want to, right here.
Okay.
Right? And all you do is just, you grab, you pull away, and you pull your body back. You push away.
So I push away off of you. So you grab my shirt.
So I grab, push.
And I have to push away from you.
Right, grab me.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes.
Right, I'm just here. Push off.
Okay, got it.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, I like that. The thumb is an easy one.
Yeah,
just to grab out of there or use your hand. Okay, very good. So I know you have some simple moves too that we can practice aside from those getaways. But you're trying to buy time so you can get away. You're not trying to get into a big fight with this assailant, right? So show me some simple things that anyone can do.
Okay, so a couple basic striking tips. You want to stick with our super basic strikes. Our super basic striking is not punching. It's actually not punching. A lot of people, when they try to punch somebody, will break their own hand.
Because they're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, they'll do it the wrong way. Even boxers break their own hand because they punch so hard, right? It's just the force, and maybe you're not holding your fist the right way. So we like to teach very, very basics at the start. So first would be the hammer strike. Hammer strike is very, very powerful. You're using the fat part of your hand right down by your pinky, and you just drive it like a hammer. Right, she comes right down on top of the head, bang, that's where it is. Next one is your palm strike, like the palm heel. You don't want to slap high five, right? I want down here, and you throw it just like a punch. We teach the punch and the palm strike. The only difference is your hands open and closed. So she comes straight and hits the palm, and make sure we're hitting down here right by the wrist.
Okay.
And then another one that we teach for our basic self-defense is the groin kick.
Right.
All right. We call it a point kick.
Yeah.
Just to get away from doing our traditional front kick. So when Sharice throws a point kick, there's technique behind it because you're pushing off of the foot when you kick. You point your foot, and you're not hitting with your foot. You want your shin.
Oh, okay.
You want the most leg possible doing the damage, right? And the shin is a hard part of the leg, so that's your best bet. Is to hit with
so not the ballerina toe. You want to get close and just use the shin.
Yes, the shin is where it's at.
So those are pretty simple things anyone can practice. The heel strike. You said the hammer, right?
The hammer fist.
Hammer fist down, and then that point kick, but really going with the shin.
Yep, 3 basic ones, nice and easy. If you're in tight quarters, the one that we didn't talk about was the elbow strike.
Oh, okay.
The elbow strike, if you're in really, really tight quarters, right, bang. This is, and you notice how she's...
Yeah, that's intense.
Yes. I try to pull me in. You just hit right sharp, and it's it's a sharp cut.
And what are you aiming for? Should you be aiming for anything? Or
with an elbow, you can hit wherever you want on the head. It's going to hurt. It's going to stun them. I mean, it is a very, very hard part of your body to hit with. All right, but if you have the ability to aim, you want to go for the nose, right? You want to go for the temple, go for the chin. If you're good enough, you go for the throat. Right.
What if you're small? Like I'm smaller than you. What should I be doing? Because maybe I can't get up there.
Well, for smaller, but it changes. It changes. You can reach up with a hammer strike if you need to, and your point of contact changes. So if Miss Sharice goes low, she gets shorter, goes shorter. Now if she's striking up,
right?
Now it's not necessarily the front of the face, but if she throws a palm strike right here and lifts my chin up, that's that's where the power is. And then more access to the throw here. Yep, and then you're even closer to the groin.
Right.
So you still have points of contact that you can make. You don't need to be face to face.
And that gives her time to get away.
Correct. This is a couple good shots and you're out of there.
Okay, I think we have a little time. Did you want to demonstrate that throw? This is for an advanced move, right?
Yeah, this is an advanced move. And she's just like
you want to do the hip throw? Or you want to do a double leg takedown?
You do a hip toss.
Hip toss?
Hip toss, here
all
we
right,
go.
so there's a lot of different ways to do the hip toss. All right, so what she's going to do, she grabs, she's going to gain control first. She steps in.
Okay.
When she steps in, now look, see how the hips are lined up?
Right.
She wants her hips just a little bit lower than mine, feet inside of mine, right?
Okay.
The feet's got to be inside. This is her base. Now all she's got to do, don't throw me yet, just lift me up. So watch how she lifts me. It's with her legs.
Right.
It's just with the legs. Nice and
Okay.
easy lift. Now when she
Right.
wants to throw, she throws.
There you go, over. Okay.
And she keeps the control of the arm.
Right. Okay, wow, okay, so that's not recommended for beginners, but that's just something cool you can do if you're two black belts.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you. Adam Ladd, Charisse King, such a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
all
much.
of those techniques.
Yes,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Giving me a chance to get into a gi.
Absolutely.
That is our time for now. Thank you for hanging out with us, for all of us at NBC News. I'm Vicki Nguyen. Join us next time for another edition of Consumer Confidential. In the meantime, practice some of these techniques and stay safe.
Make some slices here. Good job. You okay?
Welcome to Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal. In this Today All Day series, I'm looking back at some of my favorite Cooking with Cal recipes and sharing my top kitchen tips. Today's episode is one that we're calling Grandma's Greatest because it features recipes from two amazing grandmas. First up, you'll see me and Calvin whipping up my mom's pasta salad, and then we tackle my grandmother's short ribs. You know, one of the biggest obstacles timid cooks face in the kitchen is just not knowing where to start or what to make. Well, here's a good rule of thumb. Always cook what you know and what you loved growing up. Just think back to what your parents and grandparents always served. I've also found that family recipes are often the simplest, which is probably why our parents made them so often. This first recipe is proof of that. You only need 5 ingredients: pasta, canned tomatoes, black olives, parsley, and olive oil. Take a look.
All right, so let's get the ingredients ready. How this thing works. So we're gonna use a can of tomatoes, but these are cooked tomatoes. They're not raw tomatoes. So you'll like these because they're cooked tomatoes, okay? Now turn that as hard as you can. Use those muscles. Do you want some help? There we go. Do you know what these are?
What? Olives.
Black olives. On taste one, you haven't tried one in a long time. Ollie loves them. Ollie loves olives. A little bit. I love them. I could eat them like this. So we got our tomatoes, our olives. You know what this is? Got some parsley. All right, you want to chop this for me? Why don't you put your hand like that? There we go. Good job. Now I'm just gonna make these all a little smaller, okay? This adds a nice pop of green and a nice freshness to the whole dish. So a lot of times my mom would use elbow noodles, the ones that look like C's or U's as you call them. I felt like using tricolor pasta. You know why they call it tricolor pasta?
Why?
Because there's 3 colors. So this one is just made with wheat. This one has tomato in it. And what do you think's in this one if it's green?
Broccoli.
Close. What else is green? What's green and leafy?
Celery.
Well, celery has some leaves. What looks like lettuce?
Spinach.
Yay! Cool. I'm gonna dump this in, okay? While that's boiling, can you dump the can of tomatoes in here? Now all of the olives, the parsley. Ah, good call, buddy. Good idea. Now we wait. Can you taste that? Perfect. All right, drain the noodle. All right, I want to pour these into this bowl. Dump a whole bunch of olive oil in here.
All of it?
Not all of it. I'll tell you what. All around. Swirl it all around. A little salt. This will come out fast, so let's not. Let's Give it a big stir. Before we put this in the fridge to let it cool down, let's taste it, okay? You like it? Tastes even better when it's cold.
So I thought this was such an easy recipe, but you guys had a lot of questions about it, so let's get to them. First, what's the last seasoning you put on this salad? Just salt and pepper. There's not a lot of seasoning or anything that goes into this salad, so if I sprinkle anything on it, it's really just salt and pepper. I'm a big fan of salt and pepper. Next question, did you drain the tomatoes? No, I put the whole can with the diced tomatoes and the liquid because some of the pasta absorbs some of that liquid, so it helps to add some moisture to the dish. Another viewer asked, do you think it would still be tasty without the olives? Yes, the thing that's the best part about this recipe is this is just a base. If you don't like olives, if you don't like parsley, leave them out. If you want to put some cubed cheese in there or some pepperoni, throw that in. Really, it's just about a base, and if you like it a little tangier, you could probably throw in some Italian dressing. It's just a basic pasta salad. This is the way we always made it, but feel free to change it up however you want. Another question about olives, are they sliced black olives? Yes, I kept this recipe even simpler by buying the actual pre-sliced black olives, but you can buy regular olives and slice them up. I bet if you like it tangy, it would even taste good with green olives too. And another question about the tomatoes. What brand of tomatoes do you use? I'm not that loyal to a particular brand, but I do love San Marzano tomatoes whenever you can find them, whether you're using diced tomatoes or you're using, crushed tomatoes to make a sauce. San Marzano tomatoes are just a little bit sweeter, so you don't have to add the sugar to them, and they're straight from Italy, and they're just absolutely delicious. Slightly more expensive, but totally worth it, I promise.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
Welcome back to Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal. This episode is all about celebrating family recipes passed down from generation to generation. And Calvin absolutely loves his grandma's recipe for pasta salad, and I absolutely love my grandma's recipe for short ribs. So my grandmother lived in an apartment that my dad built above our garage in our house. So it was always special when we kind of walked up the stairs to my grandmother's apartment for dinner. Her home was always warm and cozy, and it always just smelled so good. Whether it was, beef and barley soup or these short ribs. I just remember it was always like a meat and potatoes or a hearty dish. And we'd all just sit around at her brown dining room table, and it was just special. We were still home, but we were over Graham's house eating one of her recipes, and they were always so delicious. For this recipe, you'll need short ribs, paprika, chili powder, poultry seasoning, onion, tomato paste, egg noodles, peas, and salt and pepper. Say hi, Mammy.
Hi, Mammy.
Hi, Cal. How are you today?
I asked you for the recipe, and you said, you just throw the meat in a dish, you throw this together, you put it on top, you cover it for a little, you cook it for a little.
There was no written instructions with the recipe, so a lot depended on looking at it, seeing what it's doing, throw it in the oven a little bit longer, that kind of thing.
Well, I wish you could be here with me to help make this and especially eat it with us.
It'll be a tight squeeze, but we'll see if we can get them all here. Okay. There we go. They're all squeezed in there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
A little salt, a little pepper. Now we have to slice up an onion.
Oh, what if I close my eyes?
I know.
Can I close my eyes?
Well, then it's hard to cut and close your eyes at the same time. Okay. Gonna make some slices here. Good job. You okay? We've got all kinds of spices here, okay?
Are we gonna mix them up?
Yeah, but first, I want you to scoop all of this tomato paste into here as well, okay? You pour this water in there.
I cannot do it.
Because you're here to help me. Okay, so now we're going to pour all of this all over our short ribs.
Now we're gonna bake them.
Then we're gonna bake them, you're right. So all we have to do, we're gonna cover this with foil. We're gonna bake it for like 45 minutes.
45 minutes. I have soccer, right?
That's right. That's so yummy. Now we'll put it back in the oven without the foil so it finishes cooking.
Where's the noodle?
This tastes exactly like my grandma's.
Is hers yummy?
Hers is so yummy.
One of the questions I get asked all the time is, what are the tools you use with Calvin in the kitchen? And knives are the big question because I'm cooking with a kid and here he is chopping some vegetables. So when I first started cooking with Calvin, I did all the chopping. I didn't want him anywhere near a knife. He did the stirring, he did the breaking of the eggs, he did all that. Then once he wanted to participate more, I found these knives. They're plastic knives. You can find them anywhere online. So they're sharp enough to cut, but they're not really sharp enough that Calvin would cut his finger. So the best vegetables this works for are something like zucchini, something like cooked potatoes. Hard-boiled egg would be good. Soft fruits like berries or pears. And, it takes a little bit of strength, but at least it, is not going to hurt them. And it kind of just gets them used to, some knife skills. I would also, kind of do this for Calvin. I'd chop this up with my knife and then just give him a little bit to just sort of learn how to rock the knife, learn how to keep his hands out of the way, and just really basic knife skills with soft fruits and vegetables. That's what these knives are good for. Eventually, it became a thing though where, you're making soup and you're chopping some harder stuff like carrots and onions. So I needed to upgrade a little bit. And I found these great knives. This is an actual knife. I mean, it's sharp and it will cut through your hard vegetables. But the thing I love about it is it also comes with this shield. So it teaches you the proper way to cut. So Calvin can put his hand here and he learns you stick your finger through this hole, so he learns, not to put his finger under here, so his hand placement is good on the knife. And then he learns to kind of rock. But look at how this is like a real sharp knife for a kid, but it's all safe. The hand that's holding the knife knows how to hold it properly. The hand that's holding the food knows how to hold it properly so that your fingers are kept out of the way. The thing I love about this brand is that it also comes with a peeler. Calvin loves apples and pears. Obviously he loves carrots, but he does not like the skin on anything. He'd peel a blueberry if he could. So the same kind of thing. You stick your finger in the hole, and then it teaches you to just have your fingers out of the way. So my job is to make sure he holds, the right end and isn't doing it the wrong way. And this thing's role is to make sure Calvin holds this the right way. So you can see how sharp they are. They work. So once your kid masters the plastic knife, I think it's good to upgrade to the real deal. The next time you go to your parents' or your grandparents' house, look through their recipe boxes. You may just find some delicious gems that you totally forgot about. But until then, I hope you'll try my family recipes and let me know what you think. For all these recipes, go to today.com/DylanDishes.
So first, what you're gonna need is breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and shredded mozzarella cheese. My name is Peyton Janicki, and this is Kids in the Kitchen. I'm Peyton Janicki, I'm 8 years old, and I'm in 3rd grade. My earliest memory of cooking is when I was younger, I used to help my grandma make apple and pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. I love cooking with my grandma because she's very nice and she's also a really good cook, and at the end I get to eat it.
You need to add some chicken broth with a pot of oil in it, and you need to let that sit before we add the couscous.
My favorite thing about having my YouTube channel, Practically Peyton, it's basically just cooking and just it's not even hard for me. It's really fun. I love to cook for my mom, my dad, and my little brother, Michael. I also bake for my dog sometimes. For his first birthday, I helped bake him a cake. And it was basically just dog food, but shaped into a bone shape. And it also came with some icing for dogs. He loved it so much. Some of my favorite hobbies are softball, swimming, dance, basketball, singing, and piano. When I grow up, there's 3 things that I might want to be. I want to be a teacher, a chef, and an art teacher because I love to do art. I think that cooking is basically kind of like art. I might put in the wrong ingredient and I still want to see how it turns out. It's basically like mixing paint colors. Today I'm so excited because I get to show you how to make Nanny's stuffed chicken breast and roasted broccoli. A couple of years ago, my nanny's created this recipe because she was really good at making chicken cutlets, and she knew one of my favorite foods was pepperoni. So she magically put the pepperoni in the chicken cutlets, and it was amazing. Okay guys, let's get started. I'm so excited. Make sure you preheat the oven to 425 degrees. First thing is we are going to line this cookie sheet with foil, and then we're gonna spray it with some non-stick baking spray. I love using foil because it makes cleanup super easy. The first ingredients that you're gonna need is breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and shredded mozzarella cheese. I like using shredded mozzarella cheese because you don't have to shred it. And it's just so hard shredding it, and you can get hurt shredding it. In a small bowl, I'm going to add breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and mozzarella cheese. This is my topping. The cheese and the olive oil are going to make the chicken brown, crispy, and delicious. So now you're gonna grab your thin chicken breast, salt, pepper, mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, and sour cream. The thinner the chicken breast, the better, because we're kind of making a pepperoni sandwich. And the bun is the chicken. Place half of the chicken breast on the prepared foil. Now we're gonna season it with salt and pepper. This is like sprinkling fairy dust. Now we're gonna sprinkle it with a half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. You wanna make sure you spread it evenly throughout the 4 chicken breasts. You don't wanna skip out on the cheese. My brother loves cheese, so I think I'm gonna give him a little bit extra. He'll thank me later. My favorite step of this whole thing, adding the pepperoni. So you want to add 3 pieces of pepperoni on each slice, each piece of chicken. What I love most about pepperoni is probably like it has like a little spice to it. It has like a little hotness. I love pepperoni so much. I even eat it for breakfast sometimes. And secretly, I try to sneak it into all of my recipes. Now we're gonna place the other half of the chicken on top of all of these pieces of chicken. Now you're going to put a thin layer of sour cream onto the chicken. This has a really good flavor, and it also helps make the breadcrumbs stick to the chicken. It's kind of like frosting a cake. Now we are going to put the breadcrumb mixture on top of the chicken. I like this breadcrumb mixture because it makes the chicken like nice and crispy, and it gives a different but good flavor. See, this is the magic of the sour cream because it's sticking perfectly. This is looking so good, I can't wait to eat it. Now it's time to put this in the oven. It looks great, but I can't do it since I'm a kid, so I need help from my dad. Dad! Now we're gonna bake that for 20 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to bake one of my most favorite side dishes, roasted broccoli.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Fun fact, it is actually like when you get any vegetable and put salt, pepper, olive oil, and garlic powder like on top of it and bake it, it'll taste amazing. I actually won't eat broccoli any other way. I always make it this way and I love it. Now the first thing we're gonna do is cut the broccoli into florets, but you can also just pull them apart. And then you can have a parent cut it a little bit more after. Now that we're getting to the middle, I'm just gonna leave this for Mom. Mom, can you come help me? Let's cut with the broccoli. Make sure they're at a similar size so they roast evenly. Well, you're a fast cutter. Now, you're gonna add olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Now you wanna mix this really well. And cooking can get messy, so do it with your hands. It feels like, I don't know, like, have you ever like felt foam beads for like slime? It feels like that, but like wet and a little bit like more like crunchy. You wanna make sure they're in one row or layer, because if it's not, it'll just steam instead of getting all like crispy and delicious. It's time to put this baby in the oven, but I need help. Dad? Now we have to wait 10 minutes. It's starting to smell so good, so that's a good sign. I'm getting super hungry too. Look at how amazing this looks. It looks so delicious. The chicken, it looks so crispy and good, and the broccoli, the same. It looks very crispy and good. I imagine it in my mouth, tasting so good. All right, let's plate it. I'm gonna plate another one because I have a special guest. I can't wait until she arrives. She's gonna love this meal.
Oh my gosh, perfect timing, she's here.
Oh my goodness, this is the chicken dish I taught you how to make. Peyton, it's beautiful. It smells delicious.
That's what you were sniffing when you just came in.
Oh, I can't wait to eat it. Thank you so much.
You're
You did a
welcome.
great job. You make this exactly like I did.
Okay, let's see how it tastes.
Yours, I think, tastes even better. It's so delicious. I love sharing meals with you. Anytime. Even if it's not this dish.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I loved having you guys in the kitchen today. I hope you'll keep this recipe in mind and share it with someone special too. Bye!
Hi there, I'm Jill Martin. As a lifestyle contributor for The Today Show, I've been bringing you small investments that make a big difference in your life. Here on Shop Today, we bring you the biggest names, the hottest products, and the ultimate tips on how to use them. And we have new technology that helps you get these items home with just one click. It's an epic and fun shopping experience you can't find anywhere else. So let's get started. This is Shop Today with me, Jill Martin. This month marks Women's History Month, and we're celebrating by highlighting incredible female entrepreneurs and business owners from across industries. From fashion to beauty, they have both inspiring stories to tell and products to match. And speaking of icons, later I'll be chatting with world-class athlete, home chef, and mother of two, Layla Ali. She'll be here to tell us all about her new home decor line that offers more for less. Plus, I'm revealing my personal it list of beauty favorites. And that's not all, because it's me. I have some exclusive deals throughout the show just for you. So let's get started. Here's to the ladies. Shopping with us is easy. Do you see the QR code at the bottom of your screen? It will be there throughout the show, giving you instant access to my product picks. All you need to do is this. Open the camera app on your smartphone or tablet. Point the camera to the screen and hold your phone there until your device recognizes the QR code and shows you a notification. Just tap the notification to open the link and start shopping. You can also text SHOP to 34318. Plus, we've created a special destination on today.com where you can shop all the items you see on today's show. Simply visit today.com/shopallday to get a head start on your shopping and take advantage of some Shop Today exclusive deals. This is such a special month, and I can't wait to introduce you to women who have truly made their mark on their respective industries. For today's It List, I want to highlight some of my favorite female entrepreneurs and business owners who exemplify empowerment and confidence. So let's jump right in. Let's start with these bestsellers from Dr. Lara Devgan Scientific Beauty. Founded by board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Devgan, she created the skincare line for her patients after their treatments. And they loved it so much, this line took off. I've actually seen her as a patient, and I use these items, and they are worth the investment. First up, check out the Platinum Lip Plump SPF 30. I'm wearing it right now, which the brand says helps make lips appear fuller, more hydrated, and plumper. It comes in two styles, one with SPF and the other without, and it's designed to give you an amazing natural pink color. The lip plumps go for $50, and they last a long time. Next up, the Extreme Lengthening Mascara. It helps give you those luscious, dramatic eyelashes perfect for a girl's night out. It's formulated with an intensely black carbon-based pigment and goes for $40. And finally, the Microdermabrasion Scrub. The brand says is designed to exfoliate dead skin cells and leave skin looking smooth. It's formulated with ingredients like green tea leaf, apple, lemon, and sugarcane. And the brand says it helps to improve skin tone, texture, and elasticity. This scrub goes for $65. Well, now that I've showed you my It List picks to put on your face, I have the perfect one to help take them off. These makeup removing towels from Weezy are adorable and they work. Weezy was founded by two friends, Liz and Lindsay. These friends could not find towels that looked as great as they felt. So they created their own. They spent over a year perfecting the design and quality, and now they have 3 cute styles: eyelids, Stain Me, and custom embroidered makeup towels. They are super soft. Get them for yourself, or they make a great gift for your gal pals. These towels come in pairs starting at $40. Next up, I love these anklets from Electric Picks. The brand was founded in 2011 by best friends MJ and Chantel, who believe that jewelry doesn't just make a fashion statement, but holds our stories and experiences as well. It's since blown up and today employs an all-female team of 11. There are 14 styles of anklets to choose from. I like to layer them, and they range from $68 to $78. These next items come from Argent, which was founded by Sally Christensen. While working in the finance and tech industry, Sally struggled to find professional clothing that was both practical and bold. So, get this, she quit her job and set out to improve workwear for women. I have 2 suit styles for you to shop from. Now, they're investment pieces, but it's like having a handbag and a suit in one. First up, the magenta crossover blazer in performance cotton, with details including interior and exterior pocketing. How many women can relate to our clothing not having functional pockets? And this color is just perfect for spring. The blazer goes for $328. To complete the look, check out the flex waist trouser in performance cotton, also in magenta, with a wide waistband and elastic back panel, so you can comfortably wear them all day, and they're cute enough to wear into the evening as well. You could pair it with a sweater like I am right now. Our second suit style from Argent is the single button blazer in seasonless wool in this fun aqua color. It's made of a year-round Italian stretch wool. It's so high-end and is designed to give you a longer and leaner fit that's super flattering. To go with these suits, we have some great shirt suggestions too. Try the long sleeve tee. It's made of cotton in a striped rib texture. It's designed to be versatile, so you could wear it under a suit like this or dress it down for weekends with jeans. For a more formal look, we have this ivory collared shirt that I actually own. It's made of a fluid medium weight Turkish crepe designed to be worn in various ways. The longer length gives it a relaxed fit. This multi-purpose collared shirt goes for $158. And just for our Shop Today viewers, use the code TODAY15 for 15% off Argent pieces. These are great. Finally, let's talk about the candles and journals from Life's About Change, an inspiring brand founded by Karen Swenson, who also happens to be Hoda Kotb's best friend. She founded the brand after Hurricane Katrina, realizing that life's about change and resilience. The symbol for change is the triangle, which is what helped inspire the brand's Delta Collection candles, featuring names like healing, peace, and gratitude. These candles are meant to be burned together as intentions for the day or the moment. These candles start at $25. Next up, the Light collection of candles comes in different colors and scents and are not made with a mold, so each one is totally unique like us. Each vessel is handmade from hand-blown glass. The Light collection candles start at just under $150. And last up, the Life's About Change journals. They come in 3 colors and are meant for you to document changes in your life. And they are perfect in size to fit in a bag or purse. They go for $28 and also make a great gift. And for all these stories, please check out our page because their stories are really beautiful and you'll want to learn more about these women. Well, that wraps up my special Women's History Month edition of the It List. Let's run through these incredible items one more time. We have the Lip Plump Mascara and Scrub from Dr. Devgan's Scientific Beauty, the makeup towels from Wheezy, the anklets from Electric Picks, the suits and shirts from Argent, and the candles and journals from Life's About Change. To shop these products, scan the QR code in the lower left hand of your screen, text SHOP to 34318, or head to today.com/shopallday. And just so you know, Today may make a commission for purchases made through the QR codes or links on today.com. Coming up next, stay tuned because I'm sharing my favorite beauty products for an instant refresh. And later, world-class athlete Layla Ali talks about her exciting new home decor line. All that and more coming up only on Shop Today.
These days, the news never stops. Change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
Welcome back to Shop Today. It's time for Instant Refresh, where we bring you products, tips, and tools to give your beauty routine an instant makeover. To celebrate Women's History Month, I found the best items from the leading ladies in beauty and skincare. Be sure to scan that QR code to get in on these picks. First up, I have some best-selling products from Saie. Founder Lainey Crowell started the brand after starting a blog in search of clean makeup products. When she couldn't find what she desired, she asked social media for community feedback and launched Saie with the motto, "You say it, we create it." The first item is Sun Melt from Saie. It's a light, creamy balm bronzer that offers the right amount of glow without overdoing it. It's available in 4 shades: light bronze, medium bronze, which is what I wear, deep bronze, and dark bronze. Sun Melt goes for $28. I also have Glowy Super Gel from Saie, which, like the name, says it's designed to give you a super glowy look. It can be worn alone, under, or mixed with foundation or tinted SPF as a primer. It's available in 2 shades, Star Glow and Sun Glow, and goes for $25. You can't go wrong with either of those. And next up, the Slip Tint from Saie is an award-winning tinted moisturizer that is designed to feel great, hydrate, and offer clean SPF while tinting any of the 14 shades. The Slip Tint goes for $32. There's also the Dew Blush from Saie, which is a creamy water-based gel blush designed to melt right on without looking streaky. It's available in 4 shades. Rosy and Peachy, which are light, I wear that, or Dreamy or Poppy, the Dew Blush goes for $22. And our last product from Saie, the Air Set, is a light and radiant loose powder. It's available in 3 shades, translucent, medium, and deep, and goes for $28. Go on their site to figure out which shade's best for you. Really wonderful products. Our next brand, Gold, was founded by Trinity Musan, who at 23 years old aimed to make wellness more accessible to all. Here I have 3 kinds of their superfood latte blends. Their best seller is the Original Turmeric, which is a powder blend of 6 essential superfoods, which the brand says aims to support skin glow, de-bloating, and immunity. There's also the Matcha Turmeric and Cacao Turmeric versions, which each blend 7 superfoods. You can try blending these in anything from water, I like it in smoothies, cheers. All blend versions go for $29. Use the code TODAY15 and get 15% off. Well, moving on to our next brand I know you love, Cocoa Kinds. Founder Priscilla Tsai struggled with acne growing up and finding a solution. So she spent her free time making her own formulas at home. She eventually launched her own skincare line, Cocoa Kind, which celebrates people exactly how they are. Today I have the organic chia face oil. The brand says it nourishes and restores skin's healthy appearance with omega-3 fatty acids. It's meant to provide that rich, velvety feel that leaves your skin soothed and hydrated. It goes for $17. The last products are from Alpen Beauty, created by 20-year beauty industry veteran Kendra Kolb Butler. In 2015, Kendra swapped her high heels for hiking shoes and moved to Wyoming, where she fell in love with nature and wild ingredients around her. It was that environment which inspired Alpen Beauty. Here are 3 of the brand's best sellers and award winners. To start, the Creamy Bubbling Cleanser. The brand says it will leave your skin feeling clean and comfortable and easily removes makeup and dirt, refines pores, and reduces the look of oily skin. It gently exfoliates dead skin cells with the help of papaya enzymes, plus it smells amazing. It goes for $36. Next, I have the Survival Serum from Alpen Beauty, which is a vitamin C serum the brand says is designed to illuminate skin while fading the look of dark spots and hyperpigmentation. It can either go under or over makeup. The serum goes for $68. And finally, the Wild Huckleberry 8-Acid Polishing Peel, which the brand says uses a double exfoliation method to smooth texture and brighten your complexion. The peel goes for $56. And this is very exciting. Just for our viewers, Alpen Beauty is offering 20% off with the code TODAY20. And that wraps up my must-haves for getting an instant beauty refresh. Let's review the products one more time. We have the Sun Melt Glowy Super Gel, Slip Tint, Dew Blush, and Air Set from Saie, the Superfood Lattes from Gold, the Chia Seed Face Oil from Cocoa Kinds, and the Creamy Bubbling Cleanser, Survival Serum, and Wild Huckleberry Polishing Peel from Alpen Beauty. To shop these products, scan the QR code in the lower left hand of your screen, text SHOP to 34318, or head to today.com/shopallday. Coming up next, I'm sitting down with all-star mom, world-class athlete, and entrepreneur in her free time, Laila Ali. She's sharing her latest exciting project with us. I can't wait for you to see. And later, trending products you won't want to miss, including jewelry with a purpose. All that and more, only on Shop Today.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Welcome back to Shop Today. Today we're celebrating Women's History Month and all the incredible stories behind female business owners and entrepreneurs. Well, today I have one of the GOATs, world-class athlete, health and wellness advocate, and now lifestyle expert, Laila Ali. She's never one to shy away from a new challenge, and today she's telling us all about her new collaboration with At Home, her passion for home decor, and what drives her to keep saying yes. Take a look. It is so nice to finally meet you. I follow you on Instagram and on social, and I'm exhausted just watching you all the time. Where do you get all your energy?
I think that just drive, ambition, and my family, my kids, all of that really just fuels me on a daily basis.
Of course, your father, boxing legend Muhammad Ali, I know inspired you in a lot of ways. What were some of the most impactful lessons he taught you?
I learned so much just by watching my father, and when I think of him, what stands out most is the kindness and humility and compassion.
We see him in a certain way, of course, but how would you describe him as a father?
He was very loving. He was fun, humorous. He was a big jokester. He really wasn't a big disciplinarian. He just wanted us to have big smiles on our faces. He kissed us all the time, hugged us, made us feel special. And that's something, of course, I would never forget.
Now, becoming a boxer, was that something as a little girl you said, this is what I want to do, or that he wanted you to do?
I actually did not even think about becoming not only an athlete, but a boxer until I saw women's boxing on television for the first time when I was about 19 years old. And I was in awe, and I couldn't believe that I didn't know that it was an opportunity available to me. And that's when I first got the idea to become a professional boxer. And, my dad was not happy about it. He literally tried to talk me out of it. I had to prove him wrong. I was like, oh, well, Dad, I can understand why you feel that way, but just watch me. So, of course, world titles and many knockouts later, he apologized and said I was wrong, You were right, you can fight and women can fight, and I'm proud of you. So that, of course, warmed my heart.
You chose to stay on your path, even when literally the greatest of all time is telling you not to.
We all have a voice inside of us, and that voice is either lifting you up or holding you back. You got to do the work that it takes, and you got to push past the fear, and definitely got to push past other people's fear.
As you're growing this empire, from spices to motherhood to now a home line, which we'll get into, what do you think your past has taught you that has brought you to be this incredible businesswoman?
I always had this desire to be independent. It's not about just how many hours I work. It's really about how much I put in, how much effort I put into growing these businesses. It took a lot of hard work. It didn't just happen overnight.
There's a quote that I know that you live your life sort of by that mantra.
So my father used to say, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee when he was boxing. Butterfly stands for wisdom and transformation and beauty and all of these things. And, the butterfly also, to me, when I see butterflies, they remind me of my father, like he's hovering over my shoulder, watching over me. So, that's something that I've really embraced.
Do you see butterflies a lot since his passing?
I do, and it's amazing that if you were to go visit his gravesite in Louisville, Kentucky, there's always these beautiful butterflies around and these beautiful purple rays of light. And anyone who's into spirituality, that kind of just reminds you that he's there, that energy is there.
I love that sentiment. Let's talk about your home collection.
This line is something that I've been wanting to create for a long time, and I'm super excited to have been able to partner with At Home. We all should be able to have a beautiful home. Our home, when you walk in the door, it should be somewhere that's your sanctuary, that just kind of wraps around you like a hug.
What I really love about your line is it's small investments that can make a big difference, and I am such a huge fan of the Lazy Susan.
These are actually one of my favorite items. This is some of the pieces that go with it. I just wanted to bring in some natural elements from the earth. right? And this is something that I think would look beautiful in anyone's kitchen. It's nice and neutral. It's heavy too.
The art pieces that you did, you talked a little bit about the quote of your father's. Is that where the butterfly wall art came into play?
And we're gonna continue to use the butterfly throughout, not only because it's part of my family legacy and my brand logo, but because people love butterflies. They really are beautiful, and there's so many ways in which to use them.
I don't know if there's anything next. You've done everything, but what is next for you?
I really want to just further refine the things that I'm already doing. One of the things that I also have to remind myself is something doesn't always have to be next. Let me make what I already got better. And that's really what I'm focused on right now.
Thank you so much for your inspiration, your energy, and for showing us your new line. I know everyone is ready for a little mini makeover with Laila Ali.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone loves it just as much as I do.
That was such an inspiring conversation. She's just incredible. To shop these products and see more of Laila's decor line, scan the QR code below or head to today.com/shopallday. And coming up next, my favorite buzzworthy products with incredible stories to match. All that and more coming up only on Shop Today.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Shop Today. It is now time for Buzzworthy, where I share my favorite trending products. Be sure to scan that QR code to get in on my picks. And in honor of Women's History Month, our theme today is all about female empowerment. And what better way to start than by talking about Brian Anthony's appropriately named empowerment jewelry. Co-founder and CEO Amber Glassman says the brand was founded with the hope of encouraging others to make their life and the lives around them purposeful and meaningful. She personally writes every inspirational message that accompanies the brand's products, which includes these stunning rings, cuffs, necklaces, earrings, and they're really beautiful and great to layer. They start at $30. Now, let's talk Supergoop, one of my favorite brands ever. Founder Holly Thagard says she started the company after a close friend was diagnosed with skin cancer in her early 30s. Holly learned that one of the main reasons why people don't wear sunscreen is that it doesn't feel so good. So she aimed to create skincare and beauty essentials that make wearing SPF easy and effortless throughout every step of your routine. And not only that, she created a cult following in the process. I'm part of it. The Daily Dose Hydroceramide Boost SPF 40 from Supergoop launched recently, and it is amazing. The brand says it's loaded with hydration and broad-spectrum SPF 40 to help give you a healthy, glowing complexion, and it goes for $46. Well, now that you're prepped for the sun, we have the perfect, inspiring reading material for warmer days ahead. First up, Cherry Bomb Magazine founder Kerry Diamond launched Cherry Bomb in 2013 to celebrate women in and around the world of food and drink through its print magazine, podcasts, and events. Each biannual issue is part magazine, part book, and includes interviews with female chefs, makers, and bakers, as well as delicious recipes. If you're a foodie or love cookbooks, these issues are definitely for you. Check out the website for all the issues available. Issues start at $20 and are filled with endless hours of inspiration. My final item is a book written by author, yoga teacher, entrepreneur, and advocate, Jessamyn Stanley. It's called Yoke, My Yoga of Self-Acceptance. Yoke is what Jessamyn calls the yoga of every day. Not just the physical practice of doing yoga, but applying the lessons of yoga to your daily life. The book is under $20 on Bookshop and can also be purchased in other formats, including audiobook and ebook. Well, that wraps up my Women's History Month buzzworthy products. Let's run through them one more time. We have the Empowerment Jewelry from Bryant Anthony's, the Daily Dose Hydroceramide Boost from Supergoop, Cherry Bomb Magazine, and Yoke, My Yoga of Self-Acceptance from Bookshop. To shop these products, scan the QR code in the lower left hand of your screen, text SHOP to 34318, or head to today.com/shopallday. Thank you so much for joining me on this celebration of women, amazing businesses, and beautiful products. I'm so honored to share their stories and hope you've been inspired too. And thank you to Leila Ali for a wonderful conversation and for sharing her lovely home line with us. I want to wish all of you a month filled with empowerment, inspiration, and confidence.
So we've got an Irish pub dialed up for you, Jamie.
Great. Not only an Irish pub, like the best Irish pub in the world, apparently.
In the world, well, at
Yeah.
least in New York, but maybe even the world.
Yeah.
The two guys, I think you know, are from Belfast.
Yeah, I do. I feel like I know a lot of people who know them, but
Yeah.
I've never met them. But I'm excited to go in here. The Dead Rabbit, love it.
You spent a little bit of time in a pub in your day, both on both sides of the bar.
Yeah,
right?
no, I have. Yeah, it's important. I think everyone should work in a pub at some point.
For sure.
It's good for the soul.
That's right. We've got sawdust on the floor.
We
It's
do.
all happening.
Watch your step.
We know it's a good place.
I feel very at home.
So does this ring familiar to you? This feel?
The bar
as
I
an
worked
Irish
in was
pub?
not as fancy, and it wasn't even an Irish pub. It was just a straight up normal pub in London that still exists. I went there recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's called Tattersalls Tavern in Knightsbridge. I can still pull a good pint though.
I bet you can.
Yeah,
I bet you can. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about this incredible film, Belfast, which is so special to you for so many different reasons, not
Yeah.
just because of what a special movie it is and how well it's been received, but because it speaks to your life experience.
Yeah.
So when you heard that Kenneth Branagh was making this movie, what did you think before you were even involved in it?
It's funny because I always felt like that Kenneth Branagh must have a story to tell from Belfast. You know, growing up there, I was acutely aware that Ken Branagh was from Belfast. So when I got that text from my agent saying Kenneth Branagh wants you to do his movie, it's called Belfast, and would love you to read it pretty quick, and he'd love to talk to you pretty quickly. You know, you don't get texts like that very often. It was during the first lockdown in the UK and Ireland, and the world, really. But I didn't know what I was doing work-wise. Nobody did. There's nothing shooting. There's nothing even talking about shooting at that time. So it was really pleasant just to even be in the realms of potentiality to be working, let alone working on this really truly brilliant thing.
So Belfast tells his story from 1969 forward. It's Buddy is effectively him, a fictionalized version of him.
Yeah.
Your own experience in Northern Ireland came a little bit later than that. So what were those early conversations with Ken like about? Because the Troubles were different in the 1980s and 90s for you than certainly they were in the late 60s and 70s for him.
He saw it all from its inception, from the very beginning of it, from normal everyday life being the same and being pleasant, joyous, even in the part of the city that he was in, to his world turning upside down overnight. You know, I've always, you know, admitted that I had a very much more of a middle class background than Ken did. I was born in 1982, so 13 years into a 30-year conflict. But we still feel that, you know, we're very connected as Belfast men and the people from that place who understand, you know, what it is to be from that place and the burden often from being from that place. You cannot be from that part of the world and not be negatively affected by, you know, what went on there, and constantly scratching your head about why it went on for so long, and constantly trying to explain to people about it and help them understand. I've travelled the world for 20 years since I left Belfast, telling people I'm from Belfast. You wouldn't believe some of the reactions you get when you say you're from that place, you know.
What do they say?
Well, people are just, you know, amazed that you like got out alive. People are like that, you know. All the news footage from 70s, 80s, 90s that is beamed across the world of Belfast is horrific. You see rioting in the streets, you see young kids throwing petrol bombs at the police, you see, you know, aftermath of devastation after bombs, you see tit-for-tat killings based purely on religion, people being shot, you know, waiting for buses. Like, that's all that people are getting across the world. So as a result, yeah, when you say you're from Belfast, people, they're like, Jesus. I'm like, you know what? It was actually, I had the most lovely childhood. And people who lived in way more working class areas than me had a lovely childhood too. But this was going on as a sort of constant backdrop. But the heart and the warmth of people in that city is like nowhere else in the world. I'm obviously biased, but I think all of Ireland are the warmest, friendliest, funniest, most resilient people, truly. And I think they've had to be resilient, and they've had to use humour to get through darker periods.
The other piece that strikes you is how it turned, specifically in the case of this film, neighbor against neighbor.
Sure.
Where two people who were friends for their entire lives and knew each other as neighbors and helping each other out and looking after their kids, all of a sudden were throwing firebombs into each other's houses. How do you, for an American audience or someone from the outside, how do you explain that level of conflict where it did turn friends against each other?
Yeah, I think, well, people were forced into taking sides, you know, and there's a lot of that in the film of trying to get Pa, my character, to align himself with a particular movement. And many people just didn't want to do that. That's why it's so important to see this film, to see how normal, hardworking people who didn't ask for it, weren't adding fuel to the fire, weren't becoming tribal. And Ken's family weren't like that. Most families weren't like that. They just wanted to live in peace and didn't want the disruption.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
So let's talk specifically, Jamie, about Pa, this character, because there is the influence of Ken Branagh's father.
Yeah.
There's the influence of your father.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the influence of your being a father.
Yeah.
To 3 kids.
Yeah.
So how did you approach this character in terms of keeping it true to what Ken wanted, but also to make it yours?
I have a pretty good understanding of a man from Belfast. I'm from Belfast. My dad was from Belfast. I come from a long line of men from Belfast. There's so much goodness in Pa and him trying to do the right thing for his family. And so trying to put a lot of the essence of those Belfast men who I knew and loved into Pa, but then that seemed to always be aligned with what Ken had told me about his dad and what the vision he had for his own dad. We're playing his parents, like it could have been insane pressure all the time to be very specifically like his parents were, but we never felt that. Be good, son. If you can't be good,
Be careful.
And Ken, you know, it's also the dream of being directed by an actor, and not just any actor, like an unbelievable actor. He is so acutely aware of where your head is at all times as an actor. And he would just handle you very sort of gently into a place where you feel really ready and confident about what you're going to do. It's a real treat to be directed by, obviously such a big director, but also such a fantastic actor.
I was thinking as the credits rolled when I watched this, what pride you must have to have told the story of your city to the world.
Yeah.
It must have felt good to see the finished product and say, okay, I think we got the story of my home city right.
Yeah, well, never more so than the 4th of November, 2021, which I will never forget, because we screened it on the first night of the Belfast Film Festival in Belfast. That was an incredible thing to behold. What I was saying earlier about the importance of this story and sort of showcasing to the world that we're actually all normal, nice, everyday, hardworking people, and we're not all aligned by religion, sectarianism. We're not all tribal. Most of us are just trying to get along. There was a very strong, powerful, palpable sense of appreciation that we were telling that story, that I think in many ways people in Belfast understand on a very different level to anyone else. And I know now that it's been released there, I've been getting a lot of texts from people saying there's been like standing ovations at the end when the credits roll. It's brilliant to hear that. I just love it, and it just shows how necessary this story is for people from home.
You mentioned your father, and I know you brought your father to this character, undoubtedly his experience and his life. And I'm so sorry about the loss of your dad last year. And I know one of your great regrets is he didn't get to see Belfast. What do you think your dad would think if you were in a theater watching Belfast?
Yeah, listen, I mean, my dad was a very proud Belfast man, and very proud of the place and the people, and but also enraged by the people and the sort of stuck in their ways politics, and always, you know, wanting to move the conversation forward. But the importance of this movie would not have been lost on him. I take comfort in the fact he knew I did it. He would have been tickled pink by the response it's got and for all the sort of accolades. I mean, my dad was proud of the stuff I've done. So, you know, like, Dad was always had my back. Some people go their whole lives without hearing those words from their folks. So I consider myself very lucky that everything I got to achieve, he got to experience and was proud of. So, but yeah, nothing would have made him more proud than this.
It's our role as dads, isn't it, to be proud of the shit stuff? That's what we do.
Yeah, well, it's kind of
it's
that thing of like, you know, being handed some drawing by, you know, my 2-year-old the other day handed me some. She was getting bits of paper, and she kept asking me for glue, and she then made these 2 pictures, I guess, with like this purple glue. You know, she'd worked hard on them. You know, one was for Mommy and one was for Daddy, and she gave them to me. They're terrible, you know, but like, I am proud. You know, I am like,
of course.
She's really proud of them. You know, I'm like, Jesus, right, fair enough. You put the work in. And I don't know what to do with them now, really, but I appreciate them and I'm proud of you. So it's that, I guess.
No question. Yeah. I like what you say about your dad. He's a beacon of positivity.
Yeah.
And I think that what you just said is so central to what we try to do as dads. Don't be on your deathbed and say all the things. Say them as you go.
You have to.
And that's his life is such an affirmation of what I think so many of us try to do. Say it in the moment.
We should all be like that, if we can, and not even away from just the pride thing, just love too. Like I was always told that I was loved, always, always, always. I feel like Dad even had more of a responsibility. I lost my mother when I was 16.
I know.
And my mum wasn't. She was loving, but she was not in that same way. We always felt so loved from both sides, but Dad was just more vocal about it, maybe, and certainly more tactile with us. And I've definitely inherited that from Dad rather than from Mum. And it's important. We need to feel loved. It's literally all we have. Like, so I feel very blessed that I get to shower these 3 little girls with love constantly, and and it's not a chore. Like they're very lovable little people.
You were only 16, as you said, when your mom died, so she didn't see any of this. Obviously, she didn't even see the modeling or the beginning of your career.
No.
Do you ever stop and think about what she may be seeing or thinking somewhere far away?
Yeah. My mum was a very beautiful, very glamorous person, loved to get dressed up, always looked immaculate. And she would never have believed it. There was no signs at that stage, and if I would do anything like this, I was so obsessed with sport, probably an only sport really at that age. I'd always done drama. I did drama at school. I mean, the only prize I ever won outside of sport was a drama prize when I was 10. She got to witness that, I guess.
So she did see the beginning of your career.
She did. I was in drag.
Really?
Playing a sort of pantomime. You don't have pantomimes here, do you?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Right.
Yeah.
I'm playing this pantomime called Widow Twanky, who's like a pantomime character who's always a guy in drag.
At 10?
At 10. Wow. Yeah, we had a cleaning lady called Nellie Morgan, who was my inspiration for art. I just mimicked her and scooped the big prize at 10 years old. Actually shared it. I won the joint drama prize.
Does Nellie know she inspired your acting career?
She didn't stay with us that much longer. And then, she's an amazing woman, Nellie Morgan. But I think my mum would have, she wouldn't have seen it coming. But she wouldn't be able to believe what's happened. Any part of it, even the first decade of modelling, and it didn't look like that was in my future at all.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition. What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
You left Belfast when you were 19, about to be 20, I guess.
Yep.
To do some modeling.
Yeah, I went to university first. I went to a marketing degree.
That, by the way, that's how we all start
Yeah,
college.
right.
We don't know what we're
Well,
going to
you
do.
know, it was a thing where I didn't want to go to university. I truly didn't. That doesn't mean I knew what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I knew I didn't want to go to university. But I did have ambitions to just honestly leave Belfast and just try something. So when I went away to uni in the northeast of England, after a year of marketing, I realized I was wasting time and my dad's money by being there. And I will forever thankful to my dad for when I did come back that summer and say, I want to drop out of university and move to London, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work in a pub. I worked in a bar for 6 months. He said yes, and I really said yes quickly too.
So where does the modeling come in then?
Summer 2002, I'd come back from uni. My dad, I was having a real fruitless summer. My friend and I drank a lot. And I remember one day, Dad came home and from work. My dad was a professor of medicine, obstetrician, and he sat me down. And he actually called me a waster. He said he couldn't handle me wasting my life like that. So it was around that time, there was a lot of discussion in my family of like, what are we going to do about Jamie? How do you solve a problem like Jamie here? I was probably depressed looking back on it now.
Yeah.
You know, it was only a few years after Mum had died, and I was probably a bit rudderless and confused about where I wanted to go. And it was then that my sister, Jessica, had seen something about like an open casting thing for this show. It was called Model Behaviour, and the idea was they plucked people from all over Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, whatever, and they all lived in an apartment together and went on castings, and then the winner of the boys and the winner of the girls would get like modelling contracts. I was very reluctant, very embarrassed to go, didn't really tell anyone, forced one of my mates to go with me. He nearly didn't show up, and I had to like drag him out of bed, and if he hadn't, I wouldn't be sat here now. I would have been an estate agent in Belfast. But he came, and I went, and I was really doing it just to be able to go, guys, I went to that thing, are you happy now? I got kicked out of the show after a day. I didn't even make it anywhere near the apartment. Like, I didn't have what it took, they told me. But one of the judges was a booking agent at Select Model Management in London who you got the contract with. And I said to her, listen, do you think if I moved to London, I could actually do this? And she was like, I can't really say that, I don't know, but like, if you ever come to London, give us a call. I took that to mean I'm moving to London because they want me to give me loads of money to model. So about a month later, I moved to London, went to the modelling agency and went, I'm here. And they're like, what are you doing here? And I was like, remember you said? And they're like, no, oh my God, you've actually moved to London. I was like, yeah, that's what you said. And, you know, as I say this, there's so much of that I don't recognise myself. The sort of audacity of it and the ambition of it that I didn't think I possessed at 20, but clearly I did. And when I was there, they were like, well, look, we can't guarantee anything. And then I just heard someone go, who's that? I turned around to him called Tandy Anderson, who owned the agency. And she said, I like your face. And I went, cool. And then that was it. And then they took me on, and then things started happening quite quick. But it was all fate and luck and timing and madness.
Like so many things.
Yeah.
So you do that well. You do it successfully. Big campaigns, Abercrombie and Fitch, all these big. And then at some point you decide, okay, this has been good for me. I made some money and I've done really well, but what's the next thing? And then that's when you pursue acting.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I got an agent at 22. I did, so not long into that, I did my first audition, was Marie Antoinette, which I got. Sophia Coppola, was my very first thing. But I was still very half-baked about what I wanted to do. But I knew that I never got a real satisfaction out of modelling, let's say that. And I remember being told that, like, you've got a face that will, you know, the structure of your actual bones and stuff, that means you'll be able to do this for a very long time. And they were telling me that as a positive thing.
Right.
And I was just going, oh my God, no, I don't want to be doing this for a long time. So yeah, and then I started to then realize that to be an actor, you had to actually work much harder than I was at that time. I was just thought it was cool, and now and again I'll have an audition. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll go, and I won't put any work in. And then I put a lot of work in for a while and didn't get anywhere either. And I thought, Jesus, this is never going to happen. Then I guess eventually it did.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, you said you got the first thing you booked with Marie Antoinette, but then a long dry spell after that. And then something comes along, this book that's been written, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
What was your first thought when they pitched you the idea?
I thought, can you imagine the scrutiny of being involved in that project?
Because the book was so huge and you're going to disappoint a bunch of people and you're not the right guy, all the things that people project
all that
onto
stuff
it.
That you knew that was going to come along. That was part of saying yes to it, was all this instant negativity and scrutiny and questioning. It wasn't an instant yes. I was like, Jesus. But I got cast 5 weeks before we started filming. My wife was 34 weeks pregnant with our first child. Very strange time. I had to make a very quick decision of, could I get my family to Vancouver safely to start making these movies on such short notice? And, I have, zero regret with being involved in them and making them. Now, the fans really loved the books, and we made the films for the fans, and they loved the films, and they went to see them in their droves, and it made $1.4 billion. So it was a massive success in many ways, but we all know how critically panned they got. But as I said to you earlier, I'm in the wrong game if I can't take criticism.
But as you say, the opportunity afforded you, how popular it was with the people who it mattered to, that changed your life. How did you deal with the fame side of it? Because up to then, people knew you from The Fall, you had your audience, but this is something else entirely. Now you're being chased down the street, everyone wants to know more about your wife and all those things. How did you handle that?
I hid. I truly hid. When the first movie came out, we literally went away and stayed in a friend's house in the middle of nowhere. And I switched my phone off for 2 weeks.
Wow.
For the last 6 years, we've lived out in the countryside, nowhere near anything major going on. And I think that, that's been part of it. Also, this whole madness of my career paralleled with becoming a father for the first time. We've had 3 kids in that time also. So we wanted to be somewhere where the kids were away from that, let alone my wife and I being subjected to that. And I think it was the right thing to do.
I've kept you too long. Before we let you go, I want to ask you about The Tourist.
Yeah.
Which is a big hit in the UK, now coming to HBO Max.
Yep.
Such a cool series. Just for people who are thinking about watching it, what's the thumbnail sketch of the story?
The setup is a guy, me, he's just known as The Man, is driving through the Australian outback, seemingly in quite a happy place in his head, and he's singing along to a song. Then this big truck comes very close behind him. It's very inspired by Steven Spielberg's Duel. Gets into this big race with this sort of race/chase with this truck. becomes very dramatic. And anyway, the truck ends up slamming him off the road. Guy wakes up in hospital, no memory of who he is or why he's in Australia or why anybody's trying to kill him. We then spend the next 6 hours finding out exactly those answers. And it is really warped why he's there. And tonally, it shifts around so much. And just when you think you know that you have a handle on what's going to happen, you're like sidebarred and you're totally wrong. It's a very entertaining show, and yeah, it's an exciting 6 hours of television.
Does the praise for both Belfast and The Tourist feel like vindication in any way? You talk about having a fire lit under you because some of the negative criticism that you received around the 50 Shades movies, and now for you to say, look at these.
Yeah, I'm reluctant to call it vindication, but you know, my whole life ethos is back yourself. You know, if you gave me a bit of paper now and there's a waste paper bin and you challenge me to throw it in 10 out of 10 times, I would love that challenge, and I back myself to do it 10 times. Just whatever that is, I've always had. A bit of confidence, whatever, self-belief. You really need it to do. You can't be here. You can't be trying to do this for a living if you don't have it. You know, I've always believed and lived by Peter O'Toole's words of great words make great actors. I think it's as simple as that. I've always backed myself that if I'm given a good script and a good director, I'm going to produce good work. I feel like I've so much more to offer. So, you know, in many ways, I feel like I'm just getting started. Will there be people for the entirety of my career that only see me as like one character? Yeah, sure. But that's on them.
Well, I'm happy for you to be having this moment because you're getting all the love you deserve, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's great.
Cheers, mate.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning into Popstar Plus. And by the way, most importantly, happy St. Patrick's Day. Coming up on today's show, one of the stars of the new musical Cyrano. Later, a blast from the 1980s with Rob Lowe in honor of his 58th birthday. But first, let's check out Popstar. We're going to start this morning's Pop Start with Volodymyr Zelensky. Netflix has officially brought back the Ukrainian president's popular television series, Servant of the People. The streaming service announcing on Twitter on Wednesday that season 1 will be available to view in the U.S. Zelensky led the satirical comedy series about a teacher who becomes president after a video of him complaining about corruption goes viral. This marks a sign of support for the real-life leader who had a successful career in entertainment before stepping into politics. The director of the Swedish production company owns the rights to Servant of the People, called Zelensky an incredible hero. Side note to that, he also won the Ukrainian version of Dancing with the Stars in 2006.
That's right.
Another fun fact. Next up, Mike Myers. The first trailer is out for the comedian's new show, The Pentaverate. Myers is going to play, count 'em, 7 different characters in the upcoming series about a secret society of men transforming into a rock and roll manager, a tech genius, the leader of an ancient secret society. Here's a little clip.
They formed a benevolent secret society to influence world events known as the Pentaverate.
The Penta what?
What is this?
You gotta do an expose on that.
If you break a story like the Pentaverate, you can do something good for this world.
That's a heck of a cat.
That looks fun. I miss that. Like Mike Myers comedy.
Love it.
It's a great series. All-star cast, as you saw there. Ken Jeong and Keegan-Michael Key also in it. The Pentaverate, whatever that means, is streaming on the 5th. Next up on Popstar, Gaslit. Speaking of transforming for a role, actor Sean Penn, almost unrecognizable in the new trailer for Gaslit. He plays Attorney General John Mitchell in the upcoming series about Watergate. Alongside him is Oscar winner Julia Roberts as his wife, Martha Mitchell, and the unlikely whistleblower in the 1972 political scandal.
I've had some disturbing news, sir. Operation Watergate. Security guards busted wide open.
The next 48 hours are going to be crucial.
I don't know how to put this. We're wondering about your wife.
Y'all gonna just stand around or you want to ask me some questions?
I mean, you can't even tell.
Come on. I was like, which one is he? I had no
But that's Sean Penn. It's like Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah.
Like you just can't even tell at all. Gaslit premieres on April 24th over on Stars. All right, next up, Wheel of Fortune. All right, let's play the music and talk about it. Classic 80s song came out in 1983, Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics. Well, today, that 80s classic is haunting a contestant on Wheel of Fortune, Chris Bryant, who on Tuesday's show flubbed this famously misquoted lyric, even though the correct word was already solved in the puzzle. Watch.
I'd like to solve.
Okay, go ahead.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Oh. Yeah, and you knew it as soon as it came out of your mouth. It happens, don't worry
That's
about it.
I think this is like the second big flub in like a month.
But I thought it was these.
Well, a lot of people
Sounds
do.
like these.
You know, the internet can be.
It says this right there.
I know, but when you're in the moment.
Twitter was on Chris's side, by the way. Many fans claiming that the lyric must be the word these because in the next line it rhymes with the word seas.
Yes.
That's the lyric.
So maybe it was wrong on the Wheel of Fortune.
Who am I to disagree? I traveled the world in the 7 seas, playing off of these.
Well,
but
like
it's
you say, these.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
We should ask him. Someone should ask him.
Yeah, we should. It's not going to happen. Finally, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, was put in the hot seat during a recent Q&A for his Netflix movie, which is great. I actually watched it last night, The Adam Project. One young fan hitting Ryan up a very blunt question about his on-screen romance with Zoe Saldana.
For Ryan, in the scene where you were kissing the girl, was that real?
Whoa!
This is the best Q&A ever.
I didn't mean it?
Good answer.
This is the thing. I don't know how to explain this to my own kids. Like, they watch this and they're like, Daddy, what are you doing? Like, it's like exactly the tactic I would use on them, not anger, but just disappointment.
It's a really great movie, by the way. And those are your headlines for today. Next up, Cyrano star Haley Bennett on what it's like working with Peter Dinklage.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Popstar Plus. Haley Bennett stars as Roxanne in Cyrano, which is a new musical now out in theaters. It's the latest screen adaptation of a classic play, and Bennett spoke to us about what it was like to take on the role and working alongside the great Peter Dinklage.
Cyrano is a film for anyone that is craving something beautiful and that lacks cynicism. It's a celebration of love. Peter Dinklage plays Cyrano, and he is a man who is courageous in all areas of his life except for love. He fears he is unworthy of love, the love he has for Roxanne because of his physical appearance.
To continue.
Roxanne, my love for you is so powerful.
Roxanne, my love for you is so powerful.
It has strangled the two serpents.
It has strangled the two serpents. Pride and doubt.
Roxanne is such an interesting character. She is an iconic character, but she was a character that was written by Rostand in the 1800s. I've always loved this character, but I felt that she was a bit prim and perfect, and I really wanted to create a character that a modern audience could recognize. We made this film in the middle of the pandemic, and it was such an exciting time to be able to, create again and to be working with other people and to be making a musical, which is, this film is so open-hearted. So it was amazing making a film about connection, or our failures to connect, when we had been locked down for quite some time.
He is mysterious, but not obscure. And his face is so bright with intelligence.
What else?
He's very beautiful, obviously.
Is he?
It's amazing to be on a journey like this with an actor, Peter Dinklage. He's so talented and he brought so much to the role. He's absolutely heartbreaking. He's incredible. And I feel the same way about Calvin Harrison Jr. He has such an open-hearted performance and such a brave performance, both of them in a lot of ways, because we live in such a toxic, masculine environment, and to let those defenses go and to allow ourselves to be seen, especially in film that people are going to see. I think it's easier for a woman to be vulnerable. We're used to being vulnerable, but for these male actors, I think it's really, really brave to show that side of themselves.
I need something to die for, write poems and cry for, and I won't be ashamed.
I've sang in movies before, but I've never done a musical. And I knew that it would take a lot of hard work, especially the first time around when we were doing the stage production. So I'm a really hard worker, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared. So I went to Joan Lader, who works with all the Broadway stars, and I sang for her, and she said, great, she's very serious. You have talent, you're very good, you have quite the range. You could probably be an opera singer if you worked really hard. But right now you sound like the farmer's daughter. And I was like, the farmer's daughter, what does that mean? I didn't say what does that mean. I was like, okay. Yeah, you're not very impressed. And she's like, you're gonna have to work really hard. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna work really hard. We're gonna work really hard together. But the farmer's daughter, yeah. So that was quite intimidating after that.
It's embarrassing to admit, but I've never actually spoken to him.
Of your love?
Of anything. It was love at first sight. A thunderbolt, it's madness, fantastical. And yet, it's absolutely real.
I've seen the film with audiences now, and it's been such a pleasure because, I really feel like audiences have been able to immerse themselves in the lush, beautiful, heartbreaking love triangle. I do have a warning for audience goers. Bring tissues, do not wear mascara. I remember my first time seeing the film with an audience, which was so exciting. And I went into the bathroom and the women just had mascara running down their faces and they were sobbing in line, having felt the effects of the film. That's like a chef's kiss for an actor, you feel like you've affected an audience, and it's a really gratifying feeling.
Fun fact, Cyrano is also nominated for costume design at this month's Oscars ceremony, so we should wish them good luck, and we should also mention that Cyrano is playing now in select theaters. Coming up next, one for the ages, the Gilmore Girls. That's right, fans are watching. We're gonna have a little flashback interview with Kelly Bishop, who of course played Rory's grandma. Stick with us.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
And we're back. Kelly Bishop might be best known for her role on Gilmore Girls as Rory's harsh grandma Emily, but recently you may have caught her as the matchmaker in the latest season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Creators Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino have included some former Gilmore Girls stars on the show as of late, and we thought we'd share our interview with Bishop, where she reflected on her time on that hit show and even recited some of Emily Gilmore's best lines.
I am so exhausted with incompetent people. I am in my real life too. I'm so exhausted with incompetent people, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like every person I hire immediately gets hit in the head with a mallet on their way out of the employment office. I, as you insinuated, have no life. I'll go. What? Why not? You have to work. I, as you have insinuated, have no life. How would I describe Emily Gilmore? I used to say Emily Gilmore is a piece of work. She's no nonsense. She's smart. She's conservative. She has values that are very kind of straight-laced. She's not foolish. She's up with current things, but there's a certain value system that she expects people to live by, particularly her daughter. What was my favorite part about Emily? Well, I liked the clothes. They spent a lot of money on my wardrobe. I liked her attitude. I mean, she was so difficult and demanding and hard to please as far as Lorelai was concerned. And what I really loved about that whole show was Amy Sherman Palladino's writing, because it's some of the best material it's probably the best material I've ever done. And, oh God, amazing. Funny, smart, on top of it, and as everybody knows, really fast. So that was just one of the many favorite things. I love doing that show. Lauren and I, the day we met, it was like, okay, I could do this. And she and I became so close and still are close. She really is like a daughter to me, and I really am kind of like a mother to her. We don't spend a lot of time, you know, talking to each other or texting or anything like that, but whenever we get together, it just clicks right in again. There's just a real love and trust and pleasure. You know, we have the same sense of humor. Yeah, she's great. I'm really crazy about Lauren. My all-time favorite episode, actually the one that tickles me the most because it was so different. There was one where Richard, my husband's mother, who was a very difficult woman, had passed away. And I found, if I recall correctly, I found a letter that she had written to him the night before our wedding, I think, begging him not to marry me. I know that the timing of this is particularly awkward since you are to be married tomorrow.
No way!
But your happiness is too important to me, so timing be damned.
She wanted Dad to leave you at the altar.
She begged him to leave me at the altar. She begged him in writing, and then she saved the carbon. And that sort of sent me off. He wasn't there to support me because he was so grieving for his mother. That during that episode, I was drinking. There was even one scene where I was smoking a cigarette. I called it the Tennessee Williams episode for me. Who was that at the door?
It was Jason. Dad needs to sign something.
Uh-huh. I mean, she was just out there. She was so un-Emily. That was great fun. I really had fun doing that one. There were a few episodes that I really liked, but that one was just such a departure. That, and then later, in those last 4 episodes that we met, the special 4, when I went after the DAR ladies. I rather enjoyed that too.
What the hell is going on?
I can't do it anymore.
Can't do what?
I can't spend any more time and energy on artifice and bullshit.
Why do you love that word so much?
The zingers and the put-downs, oh boy. Actually, one of my first ones, one of the reasons I loved the pilot script so much, I couldn't believe this pilot script when I got it. It was so funny. And I had no idea who any of these people were or who the writer was, anything like that. It's when Lorelai comes to see her parents in the pilot script, obviously to ask for money for Rory's education. And I opened the door and I said something to the effect of, "Is it Christmas?"
Hi, Mom.
Lorelai! My goodness, this is a surprise. Is it Easter already? Or is it Easter? It was some holiday which was indicative of perfect writing of saying that's how often they saw each other. It was on holidays, Christmas, Easter, whatever it was. And then Richard, my husband's character, comes in sometime later after we've done this scene, and he basically does the same thing with a different holiday.
Hi, Dad.
What is it? Christmas already?
Lorelai was taking a business class at the college today and decided to drop in to see us. Favorite moments with Ed Herman. I just loved working with him. We really liked each other so much. I know one of my favorite scenes with him was when we did Renew Our Vows, and we danced to the song Bill, and he said, "Today," that was your favorite, your favorite song, and "Today you can call me Bill."
Emily would tease me, saying, "If only your name was Bill, then this could be our song." Well, Emily, for tonight, and tonight only, my name is Bill, and this is our song.
That was wonderful. He was such a good actor and very generous, very professional, but just a sweet, good man. Why is it still cooking? First of all, it's very intelligent. I mean, the smarter you are, the more you get it. And it's fast, and so you got to pay attention. You don't have much time to laugh because you got to catch up with what's going on. It's funny. I mean, it really is a funny show. But what I decided was that there's really an innate sweetness about it, which sounds kind of icky, but it's not that. There's a decency about it. And one of the things that when men started watching it, which they weren't inclined to because it was Gilmore Girls and all that sort of thing, is that if you look at the male characters in that show, there's no nasty guy, there's no jerk, there's no misogynist, there's no violence. They're just trying to make their way in the world like all the rest of us. And so what there is basically is an innate decency about these people. They're good people. Some of them are very strange, but they're good. And I heard a wonderful story last year sometime that very often when the troops come back from maneuvers in places like Afghanistan and places that we hear too much about, they very often sit down and watch Gilmore Girls. And I think it's because it's a feel-good place. It's like, this is what America's supposed to be.
Always fun to take a look back at such a beloved show like Gilmore Girls. Still to come, we're going to take it back to the 80s with our buddy Rob Lowe.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
And welcome back. Today marks actor Rob Lowe's 58th birthday. He looks incredible. One of his amazing classic roles came back in 1985, starring in the Brat Pack favorite St. Elmo's Fire. Well, Rob stopped by today to talk about it back in the day, so let's go to today's From the Vault.
Whatever happened to those rumors that the youth cult wouldn't last long? Well, it is so strong that the hottest stars in the movies today are officially known as the Brat Pack, a phrase coined by New York Magazine. And here on the cover of the magazine are Judd Nelson and Emilio Estevez, and the third, Rob Lowe, who is with us this morning. Rob Lowe got his start, as did other Brat Packers, Matt Dillon, Tom Cruise, and Estevez, and Francis Coppola's The Outsiders. And now Rob Lowe comes to us as one of the stars of St. Elmo's Fire, which features another combination of a lot of the guys that we now know of as the Brat Pack. What did you guys think of that?
You know, it was so strange. It was so unexpected. I thought it was going to be an article on my friend Emilio. And so we went out for a night on the town, and it turned into this kind of epic article. And you really just had to laugh at things
Emilio
like that.
Estevez, they did say was perhaps the unofficial president.
And treasurer, when I forget my wallet, lest we forget. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Now, are you all, in fact, never mind the club is not named the Brat Pack. It is a group. It is.
I mean, that's really one of the few things that really is true. I mean, in the article is that we are friends. We're all close, and I think it's because we did mostly start out in The Outsiders, and we've all kind of gone on from there and attracted other members through our other films.
Who are some of the guys who might loosely be included in what I will call the Brat Pack? And
you.
I will call, yes.
I don't know. It's all. They pretty much had it on the nose. Your intro had it all on the nose, basically.
I left out Sean Penn.
Right, Sean. And these people come and go. It's not really a clique. I mean, people must have this picture of us wearing like Letterman's jackets with A for actor on them. No, it's not like that at all. It's just that it's kind of more being a comrade in arms type of thing.
Why do you need unity? You guys have got the world by the tail. You're all young and successful, and why do you need the security of hanging out with a group of other young and successful hot young actors, you know?
Well, I like it because it's something that the industry hasn't had in a while, is unity with actors. There's a lot of competition. There's enough competition in the world, and you know, I'm a hockey fan. I love competition, but in the industry, it's nice to have your friends to support you, even if they are your competitors at times. And so I think it's a nice trend.
Are there any girl members of the group?
I'm sorry?
A girl member? Shirley MacLaine was a member of the Rat Pack, but...
Interestingly enough, there really aren't, and I really don't know why that is. No.
Meanwhile, St. Elmo's Fire, who are some of the guys?
The guys. Well, there's Judd Nelson and Emilio, who are on the cover with me, are in this film, and Ali Sheedy. And I've worked with most of these people before, and I'm so proud of all of them and the performances that they've given in this movie.
In this movie, you play, uncharacteristically, a guy who is married with a baby, and the whole gang of you are just a year or so, I guess, out of college.
Right.
Having said that, let's roll a clip from St. Elmo's Fire.
Don't you give up on me.
We could probably still get an annulment.
No! I'm gonna change. I'm gonna get the right job. Look, there's gonna be no more drinking and no more women. You're not gonna believe how out of hand it's gonna be.
Somehow I don't believe him myself.
No, he means well. It's what's nice about my character Billy is that he's not malicious in these things, and it was a change, and it was great for me to have a chance to play someone who is so emotionally unstable. I mean, that's something that I hadn't really done in my career.
What do you typically do? I mean, I would be foolish not to notice that you're really a gorgeous young fellow, which you have observed is both a blessing and a curse.
Well,
I think you once said that Warren Beatty and Robert Redford had overcome their faces, and you rather admired them for that.
I think what I meant was just that, you know, nobody really ever talks about how good looking they are, and they're great looking men, you know, and I certainly wish I looked like Robert Redford, right? I mean, don't we all? And
You do, okay.
you know, you never hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like talking about yourself for long enough. You get tired of talking about yourself. Hearing about something about yourself, you get tired of that too. You know?
Gotta love the 1980s, man. So cool. And a big happy birthday to Rob Lowe. And that's gonna do it. Another Pop Star Plus in the books. Join us back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, friends.
Well, hello. Hi, guys. You guys are watching Today All Day. It is St. Patrick's Day. Craig's in for Savannah, and you at home, you're watching our digital show. It's called Today in 30.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get to on this St. Patrick's Day. It's another busy day here and overseas. In fact, we're going to start with the very latest from Ukraine, including Lester Holt's exclusive one-on-one with that war-torn country's President Zelensky.
And then Kate Snow, she shares her moving conversation with Angelina Jolie on an issue that's very important to her, improving the laws that protect women and children.
And as previously mentioned, it is St. Patrick's Day. That means parties and parades, and they are back in a big way after a 2-year hiatus. We're going to show you how people are celebrating. And Harry Smith is going to take us inside the famed McSorley's here in New York City. It's New York's oldest Irish pub. That's saying a lot.
You know who wants to be there.
Carson Daly.
Of course he does. Front row. On the fourth hour, Maria Shriver was in for Jenna, and we tested our luck with a fun St. Patty's Day trivia showdown. It's all coming your way right now on this edition of Today in 30. We do begin with our coverage of NBC's Richard Engel. Richard, good morning.
Good morning. We are now on the edges of Kyiv, and aid stations have been set up here to help evacuate some of the injured. And doctors are telling us that the vast majority of the casualties they're seeing are civilians.
Russia's war plan now can only be described as scorched earth, obliterating a market in Kharkiv and bombing now every day apartment buildings in Kyiv. On the edge of Kyiv this morning in a hospital in Brovary, Katerina, who sold yogurt and milk at the market, says she came out of her basement for a moment to wash the blankets when a missile exploded. It blew off her leg and sent shrapnel through her back, piercing her lung. Before I had a house and a job. Now I'm disabled and have no home. And why? For what? She asked, and began to curse Russia. But one city is bearing the brunt of Russia's pitiless assault: Mariupol in the south. Many of the images from a hospital here are too graphic to broadcast. But one medic's account from a Ukrainian news outlet paints a mental picture of the horror. Every shelling means torn apart hands and legs and entrails falling from bodies. It is unpleasant to hear about this, but you have to listen, she says. Now we cannot bury the bodies. We can't get people with wounds and broken bones out of their houses because they are trapped in basements. And appeals to avoid killing civilians have been useless. New satellite images show Mariupol's main theater. In front and in back are signs in Russian that read children. They're large enough to be visible from the air. Ukraine's government said hundreds of people were sheltering inside. Russia struck the theater anyway, claiming it was a military headquarters. It's unclear how many may have been killed or injured. Russia may be bombing Mariupol with particular ferocity because it wants to keep it in an eventual settlement. The city could give Russia a strategic land bridge to Crimea. But Russia is destroying the very prize it seeks to own. And Ukrainian troops aren't taking this lying down. The New York Times, citing American intelligence estimates, reporting Ukrainian forces have killed around 7,000 Russians so far, more than the U.S. lost in Afghanistan and Iraq combined. But President Vladimir Putin may be willing to lose many more. In an angry-sounding speech, he framed the war as an existential fight for Russia's survival. He accused the Ukrainian government, calling them Nazis, of working with the United States to develop nuclear and biological weapons, including COVID. He said Russia had no choice but to strike first.
Ukrainian officials say the shelter under that theater in Mariupol appears to be intact and not destroyed. And as they are clearing debris away, they say that survivors have been emerging. Hoda?
Oh, what a blessing that is to hear Richard at the end of that story. Richard Engel for us there. Thank you so much.
With the toll on his country worsening, Ukraine's president appealed directly to the United States for more help, and the White House has responded, pledging more help. Meanwhile, President Biden, for the first time, referred to Vladimir Putin as a, quote, war criminal. NBC's chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has that part of the story. Peter, good morning to you.
Craig, good morning to you. President Biden praising President Zelensky's speech as passionate and convincing. In his response, detailing nearly $1 billion in new military equipment to be rushed to Ukraine, but making no mention of a no-fly zone or those fighter jets that Ukraine's leader has asked for. Still a non-starter for the U.S. This morning, on its way to Ukraine, a badly needed resupply of critical military equipment from the U.S., part of a new $800 million aid package announced by President Biden Wednesday.
The American people are answering President Zelensky's call for more help, more weapons for Ukraine.
After condemning Vladimir Putin's war for what he calls its appalling devastation and horror, the president, for the first time, accused Putin of war crimes.
I think he is a war criminal.
To repel the Russian invasion, the U.S. is sending Ukraine an arsenal, 800 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, 9,000 anti-tank weapons, and 100 deadly drones that can strike targets from miles away. It follows President Zelensky's pointed and powerful address to Congress, invoking the worst attacks in American history to capture the plight of his people.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember September the 11th. Our country experience the same every day.
Zelensky urging the U.S. to get tougher with Russia, calling for the establishment of a no-fly zone, or alternatively, the transfer of Soviet-era fighter jets for Ukraine to do it itself. A move President Biden opposes, warning it would spark World War III. Republicans calling on the president to give Zelensky what he's asking for.
We need them to win. And to win, they need to kill Russians. And to kill Russians, they need more weapons.
Zelensky concluding his remarks in English with a message to President Biden himself.
I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace.
Zelensky bringing both parties together and bringing them to their feet. And the White House pushing back on the argument that it is not doing enough so far, emphasizing that the U.S. has been the single biggest contributor of weapons to Ukraine by far. And as for the president's condemnation of Vladimir Putin as a war criminal, the White House says the president was offering his opinion that a formal investigation internationally into possible war crimes, those are ongoing. But the Kremlin is denouncing the president's words, calling them unacceptable and unforgivable. Craig and Hoda?
our chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, for us. Peter, thank you.
On the heels of his address to Congress, President Zelensky joined our own Lester Holt virtually for an exclusive one-on-one, and Lester joins us now with that interview. Good morning, Lester.
Good morning to both of you. Throughout our conversation, President Zelensky challenged the U.S. and its NATO allies to do more to help his country, speaking candidly through a Ukrainian government-provided interpreter about what greater U.S. involvement would signal to the rest of the world. You once again renewed your call for a no-fly zone, but you also made the pitch for an alternative, and that's the fighter planes. Do you think that President Biden is inching closer to perhaps reconsidering transferring fighter planes to Ukraine?
Well, this is the choice for the President Biden to take, and the whole civilized world would need to take. And hopefully that choice would coincide with the choice of the Ukrainian people, because currently Russia has an advantage in the air.
President Biden has been very clear he's worried about provocations that could trigger World War III. Do you understand his concern there, and do you agree that it wouldn't take much to end up in World War III?
Well, nobody knows whether it may have already started, and what is the possibility of this war if Ukraine will fall. In this case, we have the whole civilization at stake.
The U.S. administration has raised concerns that Russia might launch a chemical attack. Do you think that would be a red line that the U.S. would move forward and become more actively involved in combat?
I believe that Russians have already crossed all the red lines when they started shelling civilians, when they've started using cruise missiles. If they're launching intentionally those missiles against kindergartens, against schools, universities, now that is a cross of every single line. What else should we wait for?
If Kyiv falls to the Russians, does the entire country of Ukraine fall to the Russians?
Yes, Kyiv is a step, a very important step for them. That's the heart, the capital of our country. You can conquer the city, you can break the heart, but you won't be able to force anyone to love someone. That is why the heart will always remain with the Ukrainians.
And Zelensky told me he has no plans to step down or leave Ukraine as part of any deal as his government continues to negotiate with Russia to find an end to the brutal conflict.
It really has just been flat out remarkable to see President Zelensky's leadership.
He's fighting for his country.
Yeah. All right, Lester, thank you so much. And we'll see you on NBC Nightly News tonight.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
We're back. Carson joins us, and we are turning to an exclusive conversation with actress and advocate Angelina Jolie and someone she's working closely with. Her name is Ruth Glenn, head of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
Yeah, they were at the White House on Wednesday. They were there to celebrate the signing of the Violence Against Women Act, which also contains some new provisions to help keep children safe.
So important. NBC's senior national correspondent Kate Snow is here with more. Kate, good morning.
Good morning, guys. So these are issues that Angelina Jolie has been passionate about for a long time. As a special envoy for the United Nations Refugee Agency, she's of course paying close attention to what's happening to women and children fleeing Ukraine right now, but she's also deeply concerned about women and children in this country. And she told me this work is personal to her.
We know Angelina Jolie as an actor and an Oscar winner, but she's also a dedicated humanitarian, and on this day, one of the advocates at a White House celebration for the signing of the Violence Against Women Act.
It took time to change the culture, and you did it.
President Biden walked hand in hand with Ruth Glenn, who leads the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
This has been kind of an uphill battle.
Yes, absolutely.
I met up with Ruth and Angelina in Washington.
Angelina, you lobbied for the Violence Against Women Act to be reauthorized. You were all over Capitol Hill. This day has to feel big for you.
Well, we lobbied.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
For all of us and for all of those who've been doing it for a very, very long time, this is a long time coming.
What is the significance of this being signed into law?
Many, many survivors who have not had their needs addressed previously will now have their needs addressed. It fills the gaps for our Native American sisters and brothers, LGBTQI, the list goes on and on.
For the first time, there are also protections for women and children who allege abuse during custody disputes. For months, Angelina met with individual senators on Capitol Hill pushing that. At one press conference, getting emotional.
Most of all, I want to acknowledge the children who are terrified and suffering at this moment, and the many people for whom this legislation comes too late.
That provision is known as Kayden's Law.
Played soccer right here.
Named after Kathy Sherlock's 7-year-old daughter, Kayden was murdered by her own father following a custody dispute.
How many people did I have to beg for help? How many people did it take? And it didn't work.
She knew, and many of us know, what is not in place. And a lot of that is the training, the really basic training for
judges.
Kayden's Law provides federal incentives for states to prioritize the safety of children in court proceedings.
There is science behind the damage, the real medical damage that is done when there is abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder and trauma. And if it's not responded to by the authorities appropriately, how that grows worse and settles in that body.
Do you think, absent training, do you think sometimes law enforcement and judges in this country are too quick to dismiss allegations of real abuse?
I think this country doesn't recognize what a serious domestic violence and child abuse problem it really has. When somebody harms a child, if it's a stranger, the way the law looks at it, the way the law responds, is quite strong. When it's somebody within a family, within a home, it is responded to less. And if you can imagine for the child, in fact, that's in many ways worse.
Angelina also pushed for funding for technology to detect bruises on children of color. Researchers have found in the first 24 hours, evidence of abuse is harder to detect on dark skin than light skin.
Part of this came from being a mom. My children have different skin tones, and I've noticed over the years, just even with dermatology, that so much of it is based on white skin. It's personal, and I won't say very much. But if somebody comes in and assaults us, you look at me and you look at Ruth, you have a better chance of seeing bruises on me. So anybody with darker skin is going to have less chance at justice.
And it's an inequity.
It is absolutely
systemic.
Biased.
Absolutely.
It's biased forensics.
Angelina, you said this is personal. In passing a moment ago, I don't know if you realized you said that, but you said it is personal.
Personal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It should be personal. It is personal to everyone. Everyone who cares about family, everyone who cares about children.
Jolie's own split and custody battle with ex-husband Brad Pitt gave her experience with the family court system.
And I think once you're exposed to this system, whoever you are, once you're exposed to it and you realize how unbelievably broken this system is, you have to do something to improve it.
Last year, we first reported on the family court system. You saw a little bit of it there, and custody disputes involving allegations of violence. Look, it's complicated, but one of the issues we heard again and again is that some women don't feel they can report abuse because it might be seen as simply an effort to badmouth the other parent and gain custody. Some lawyers even tell women not to mention abuse. Family court judges are often inclined to preserve both parents' rights to be with their kids, and sometimes that means that parents who were abusive still have access to their children. That's just a fact, and that is what Kayden's Law is trying to prevent.
Wow, that was really illuminating, Kate.
And that technology that detects
about the bruising
on dark-skinned people, I had never heard of, never thought of that.
Yeah, there are researchers working on this. There's a certain kind of light they can use, but again, it's not really in practice in law enforcement all over the country. So part of what the money in this law will do is try to promote more research on that and get it out there.
Such
it's important.
Yeah.
All right, Kate,
Thank you, Kate.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
In the City of Angels, two kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
This is good.
We're back 8:36 with a special St. Patrick's Day edition of Mr. Smith Goes To.
Yeah, this morning, Harry's trip to one of New York City's most treasured landmarks. It's called McSorley's. Harry, I don't know, but you always get the best assignments.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know this means a lot to you. But imagine a place that is literally like stepping into a time machine. A place that has been in business since the middle of the 1800s.
Wow.
A place that's welcomed working men and writers, ne'er-do-wells, scoundrels, revelers.
Us.
Going there really is... Today's show really, host. Thank you very much. All the above actually transports you.
An Irish storyteller is called a Seanachie, and we know one who claims McSorley's Old Ale House is the longest continuously operating bar in New York City, since 1854, if you can believe it. Ever since then, the bar has been a place to shed your woes, meet your friends, and share a cup or two.
What's a best night like here? When this place is at its best, what is it like to be inside this room?
I hate, this sounds really corny. It's a kind of heaven. It's like you're surrounded by throngs of really wonderful human mirth.
Bart Bartholomew knows. He spent just a few rounds shy of 50 years behind the bar here, where he says most patrons heed the establishment credo: be good or be gone.
There's something about it. You're in the middle of a hive, I guess, of human warmth and good cheer and everything, and that's great.
Many a Saturday morning, Bart would bring his little boy to McSorley's. So entranced by the goings-on was Rafe Bartholomew, he vowed one day he'd work here too. And then he wrote a book about it.
What makes this place different from other old bars in town?
For me, it's that the place still runs as much as possible like it did when John McSorley opened it in 1854. The way they serve the ale, the sawdust on the floors, the chairs, the tables, the bar itself.
The stuff on the walls, milestones, memories, history. Some enough to give you pause.
So what is this up here?
These are our World War I wishbones. We consider that the most precious artifacts in the bar. You know, in 1917, a group of regular guys, mostly locals from the neighborhood, were shipping out to World War I, and they had a going away party here. At the end of the night, they each hung a wishbone on the gas lamp for good luck, in hopes that they would come back. After the war, those who survived came back and took down a wishbone, and those who never made it, their wishbones have been there ever since.
McSorley's devotion to the past is steadfast. As was true when the bar first opened, your choice of drink is ale, light or dark. Imagine an Irish bar that serves no whiskey.
Light or dark?
No Jamesons, no.
No Bushmills?
No Bushmills, no.
No Tullamore Dew?
No, you're getting into good stuff now.
There is an enduring and endearing stubbornness here. When Matthew Marr became the bar's third owner in the 1970s, he pledged to keep it the same. His daughter Teresa runs it now and continues the commitment to forswear, fad, or fashion.
How proud are you of this place?
Oh, I'm very proud. Like, I'm beyond words. It's more than a bar. It's like history. It's my family. It's life. I think this place, teaches all of us something, especially that work here.
Like Bart, who quite honestly spent most of his life here.
You always want to have some kind of meaning or significance to your life, and it's here for me. After loving my wife and my son and being a good father and good husband, this place is like, it's the meaning of my life.
John McSorley escaped the potato famine and built something of permanence in New York's bowels. Hard not to imagine his Irish eyes still smiling.
Okay, we are so in the St. Patty's Day spirit, so we're going to test our luck with a fun St. Patty's Day showdown.
I'm
you
really
ready?
nervous because I actually am Irish and I don't know the answer to any of these questions. We're going to ask Donna to do this quiz with us.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask you the question.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hoda, did you know how seriously Maria takes these games?
No, I'm not serious about it. I wanted to look at the answers.
You had the answers?
They were in the notes. They were in
You
the
didn't
notes.
peek?
But I didn't
sneaky,
peek.
but
I
you
said
didn't
I'm going to peek later.
All right,
later didn't happen, and here we are.
So let's see how well you do.
Okay,
I'm
we're
just going to
ready.
ask the question.
Okay.
Buzz in if you think you got the answer.
Buzz. That's what.
Okay.
Yes.
First question.
Ready.
How many pipes are found in a traditional Irish bagpipe? 3, 8, or 5?
You do not know.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
3.
Yeah.
They're at every Irish wake. I've been to several wakes and funerals. Okay.
All right, number 2.
That's my last one.
What are the odds of finding a 4-leaf clover? A, 1 in 100, B, 1 in 1,000, C, 1 in 10,000.
It's got to be 1 in 10,000.
You are correct.
Yes!
Oh my God.
Have you ever found one?
Yes, I found one.
You have?
Yeah. We used to do, that was one of the things we used to do when I lived in West Virginia as kids. We would look for 4-leaf clovers, and when you found one, it was like great.
Wow. Now you can just get it in jewelry.
Yeah, now
yes,
you can. That's true, that's true.
Okay,
But I don't know if that counts. Okay, 3. What year was the Chicago River first dyed green? A, 1975, B, 1984, C, 1962.
You do not. I was born in Chicago. I lived there until 1960, so it was right after I left, 1962.
Yes!
Wait, what?
Because I lived there, so that's not fair.
I don't think I knew you were born
know
there.
anything about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, the luck of the Irish is on your side.
62.
Okay, number 4.
Yeah.
How many pints of Guinness are consumed on St. Patrick's Day each year? 8 million, 14 million, or 25 million?
I bet 25.
Incorrect.
14.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
great.
all right. Do I get one for that? Oh, good.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I stole it? Okay.
Okay. Which celebrity was not born in Ireland? Colin Farrell, Pierce Brosnan, or Sean Connery?
No, you don't know that.
Sean Connery.
Yes!
I mean, I grew up with him.
He was
I'm older
born
than
in
you.
Edinburgh.
You know what? This was all a ruse. I don't
No.
know anything.
Sean
I'm unaware.
Connery is like.
But who would know
Scottish.
that?
It was her
Everybody
strategy.
who watched James Bond knows that. If you grow up with Sean Connery as James Bond, he's Scottish.
So we learned something new.
Oh my
about us.
gosh.
Okay, according to folklore, the best time to sneak up on a leprechaun is when they're doing what? Mending their shoes, searching for gold, or looking for clovers?
Mending their shoes.
That was you.
That was you?
You got it.
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
actually going to say looking for clovers.
No,
How do you have 4 and I have 2? Let's go. Double or nothing. Is this the last
Okay.
one?
This is the last one.
Okay. I got to
This
steal.
is a big one. This is the hardest
I'm
one.
scared.
Okay.
What does Erin go Bra mean? Cheers and good health.
Oh, I know.
God bless St. Patrick, Ireland forever.
Cheers and good health. No, it's not.
God bless St. Patrick.
No, it's
Ireland forever. Erin
forever.
Gabra.
But you know what?
I thought it was like a toast.
You get some Guinness.
Yes.
So cheers to you.
Oh my God.
Do you want to take a sip?
I'll take it. Thank you.
Happy St.
Cheers.
Patty's Day, everyone.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
In the City of Angels, 2 kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts. In the City of Angels, 2 kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Come back tomorrow, won't you, for another big morning on today, including Hoda's conversation with the Oscar-nominated cast of Coda. You've been talking about this.
I was dying during that interview. It was amazing. I hope you guys enjoy it too. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Gonna make some slices here. Good job. You okay?
Welcome to Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal. In this Today All Day series, I'm looking back at some of my favorite Cooking with Cal recipes and sharing my top kitchen tips. Today's episode is one that we're calling Grandma's Greatest because it features recipes from 2 amazing grandmas. First up, you'll see me and Calvin whipping up my mom's pasta salad, and then we tackle my grandmother's short ribs. You know, one of the biggest obstacles timid cooks face in the kitchen is just not knowing where to start or what to make. Well, here's a good rule of thumb. Always cook what you know and what you loved growing up. Just think back to what your parents and grandparents always served. I've also found that family recipes are often the simplest, which is probably why our parents made them so often. This first recipe is proof of that. You only need 5 ingredients: pasta, canned tomatoes, black olives, parsley, and olive oil. Take a look.
All right, so let's get the ingredients ready. How this thing works. So we're gonna use a can of tomatoes, but these are cooked tomatoes. They're not raw tomatoes. So you'll like these because they're cooked tomatoes, okay? Now turn that as hard as you can. Use those muscles. Do you want some help? There we go. Do you know what these are? What? Olives. Black olives. On taste one, you haven't tried one in a long time. Ollie loves them. Ollie loves olives. A little bit. I love them. I could eat them like this. So we got our tomatoes, our olives. You know what this is? Got some parsley. All right, you want to chop this for me? Why don't you put your hand like that? There we go. Good job. Now I'm just gonna make these all a little smaller, okay? This adds a nice pop of green and a nice freshness to the whole dish. So a lot of times my mom would use elbow noodles, the ones that look like C's or U's as you call them. I felt like using tricolor pasta. You know why they call it tricolor pasta? Why? Because there's 3 colors. So this one is just made with wheat. This one has tomato in it. And what do you think's in this one if it's green?
Broccoli.
Close. What else is green? What's green and leafy?
Celery.
Well, celery has some leaves. What looks like lettuce?
Spinach.
Yay! Cool. I'm gonna dump this in, okay? While that's boiling, can you dump the can of tomatoes in here? Now all of the olives, the parsley. Ah, good call, buddy. Good idea. Now we wait. Can you taste that? Perfect. All right, drain the noodle. All right, I want to pour these into this bowl. Dump a whole bunch of olive oil in here.
All of it?
Not all of it. I'll tell you what. All around. Swirl it all around. A little salt. This will come out fast, so let's give it a big stir. Before we put this in the fridge to let it cool down, let's taste it, okay? You like it? Tastes even better when it's cold. So I thought this was such an easy recipe, but you guys had a lot of questions about it, so let's get to them. First, what's the last seasoning you put on this salad? Just salt and pepper. There's not a lot of seasoning or anything that goes into this salad, so if I sprinkle anything on it, it's really just salt and pepper. I'm a big fan of salt and pepper. Next question, did you drain the tomatoes? No, I put the whole can with the diced tomatoes and the liquid because some of the pasta absorbs some of that liquid, so it helps to add some moisture to the dish. Another viewer asked, do you think it would still be tasty without the olives? Yes, the thing that's the best part about this recipe is this is just a base. If you don't like olives, if you don't like parsley, leave them out. If you want to put some cubed cheese in there or some pepperoni, throw that in. Really, it's just about a base, and if you like it a little tangier, you could probably throw in some Italian dressing. It's just a basic pasta salad. This is the way we always made it, but feel free to change it up however you want. Another question about olives, are they sliced black olives? Yes, I kept this recipe even simpler by buying the actual pre-sliced black olives, but you can buy regular olives and slice them up. I bet if you like it tangy, it would even taste good with green olives too. And another question about the tomatoes. What brand of tomatoes do you use? I'm not that loyal to a particular brand, but I do love San Marzano tomatoes whenever you can find them, whether you're using diced tomatoes or you're using, crushed tomatoes to make a sauce. San Marzano tomatoes are just a little bit sweeter, so you don't have to add the sugar to them, and they're straight from Italy, and they're just absolutely delicious. Slightly more expensive, but totally worth it, I promise.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
In the City of Angels, 2 kindly old ladies wanted to help homeless men get off the streets forever. And so they did. Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, the new podcast from Dateline and Keith Morrison.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Listen to The Thing About Helen and Olga, new from Dateline, wherever you get your podcasts.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal. This episode is all about celebrating family recipes passed down from generation to generation. And Calvin absolutely loves his grandma's recipe for pasta salad, and I absolutely love my grandma's recipe for short ribs. So my grandmother lived in an apartment that my dad built above our garage in our house. So it was always special when we kind of walked up the stairs to my grandmother's apartment for dinner. Her home was always warm and cozy, and it always just smelled so good, whether it was, beef and barley soup or these short ribs. I just remember it was always like a meat and potatoes or a hearty dish. And we'd all just sit around at her brown dining room table, and it was just special. We were still home, but we were over Gram's house eating one of her recipes, and they were always so delicious. For this recipe, you'll need short ribs, paprika, chili powder, poultry seasoning, onion, tomato paste, egg noodles, peas, and salt and pepper. Say hi, Mammy.
Hi, Mammy.
Hi, Cal. How are you today?
I asked you for the recipe, and you said, you just throw the meat in a dish, you throw this together, you put it on top, you cover it for a little, you cook it for a little.
There was no written instructions with the recipe, so a lot depended on looking at it, seeing what it's doing, throw it in the oven a little bit longer, that kind of thing.
Well, I wish you could be here with me to help make this and especially eat it with us. It'll be a tight squeeze, but we'll see if we can get them all here. Okay. There we go. They're all squeezed in there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Salt, pepper. Now we have to slice up an onion.
Well, what if it hurts my eye?
I know.
Can I close my eye?
Well, then it's hard to cut and close your eyes at the same time. Okay. I'm gonna make some slices here. Good job. You okay? We've got all kinds of spices here, okay?
Are we gonna mix them up?
Yeah, but first, I want you to scoop all of this tomato paste into here as well, okay? And you pour this water in there.
I cannot still do it.
Because you're here to help me. Okay, so now we're going to pour all of this all over our short ribs.
Now we're gonna bake them.
Then we're gonna bake them, you're right. So all we have to do, we're gonna cover this with foil. We're gonna bake it for like 45 minutes.
45 minutes. I have soccer, right?
That's right. Now we'll put it back in the oven without the foil so it finishes cooking.
Where's the noodle?
This tastes exactly like my grandma's.
Is hers yummy?
Hers is so yummy. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, what are the tools you use with Calvin in the kitchen? And knives are the big question because I'm cooking with a kid and here he is chopping some vegetables. So when I first started cooking with Calvin, I did all the chopping. I didn't want him anywhere near a knife. He did the stirring, he did the breaking of the eggs, he did all that. Then once he wanted to participate more, I found these knives. They're plastic knives. You can find them anywhere online. So they're sharp enough to cut, but they're not really sharp enough that Calvin would cut his finger. So the best vegetables this works for are something like zucchini, something like cooked potatoes. Hard-boiled egg would be good. Soft fruits like berries or pears. And, you know, it takes a little bit of strength, but at least it, you know, is not going to hurt them, and it kind of just gets them used to, you know, some knife skills. I would also, you know, kind of do this for Calvin. I'd chop this up with my knife and then just give him a little bit to just sort of learn how to rock the knife, learn how to keep his hands out of the way, and just really basic knife skills with soft fruits and vegetables. That's what these knives are good for. Eventually, it became a thing though where, you know, you're making soup and you're chopping some harder stuff like carrots and onions. So I needed to upgrade a little bit. And I found these great knives. This is an actual knife. I mean, it's sharp and it will cut through your hard vegetables. But the thing I love about it is it also comes with this shield. So it teaches you the proper way to cut. So Calvin can put his hand here and he learns, you know, you stick your finger through this hole, so he learns, you know, not to put his finger under here, so his hand placement is good on the knife. And then he learns to kind of rock, but look at how this is like a real sharp knife for a kid, but it's all safe. The hand that's holding the knife knows how to hold it properly. The hand that's holding the food knows how to hold it properly so that your fingers are kept out of the way. The thing I love about this brand is that it also comes with a peeler. Calvin loves apples and pears. Obviously he loves carrots, but he does not like the skin on anything. He'd peel a blueberry if he could. So the same kind of thing. You stick your finger in the hole, and then it teaches you to just have your fingers out of the way. So my job is to make sure he holds, you know, the right end and isn't like, you know, doing it the wrong way. And this thing's role is to make sure Calvin holds this the right way. So you can see how sharp they are. They work. So once your kid masters the plastic knife, I think it's good to upgrade to the real deal.
The next time you go to your parents' or your grandparents' house, look through their recipe boxes. You may just find some delicious gems that you totally forgot about. But until then, I hope you'll try my family recipes and let me know what you think. For all these recipes, go to today.com/DylanDishes.
So first, what you're gonna need is breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and shredded mozzarella cheese. My name is Peyton Janicki, and this is Kids in the Kitchen. I'm Peyton Janicki. I'm 8 years old, and I'm in 3rd grade. My earliest memory of cooking is when I was younger, I used to help my grandma make apple and pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. I love cooking with my grandma because she's very nice and she's also a really good cook, and at the end I get to eat it.
We need to add some chicken broth with a pot of oil in it, and you need to let that sit before we add the couscous.
My favorite thing about having my YouTube channel, Practically Peyton, it's basically just cooking and just like, it's not even hard for me. It's really fun. I love to cook for my mom, my dad, and my little brother, Michael. I also bake for my dog sometimes. For his first birthday, I helped bake him a cake. And it was basically just dog food, but shaped into like a bone shape. And it also came with some icing for dogs. He loved it so much. Some of my favorite hobbies are softball, swimming, dance, basketball, singing, and piano. When I grow up, there's 3 things that I might want to be. I want to be a teacher, a chef, and an art teacher because I love to do art. I think that cooking is basically kind of like art. I might put in the wrong ingredient and I still want to see how it turns out. It's basically like mixing paint colors. Today I'm so excited because I get to show you how to make Nanny's stuffed chicken breast and roasted broccoli. A couple of years ago, my nannies created this recipe because she was really good at making chicken cutlets and she knew one of my favorite foods was pepperoni. So she magically put the pepperoni in the chicken cutlets and it was amazing. Okay guys, let's get started. I'm so excited. Make sure you preheat the oven to 425 degrees. First thing is we are going to line this cookie sheet with foil, and then we're gonna spray it with some non-stick baking spray. I love using foil because it makes cleanup super easy. The first ingredients that you're gonna need is breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and shredded mozzarella cheese. I like using shredded mozzarella cheese because you don't have to shred it. And it's just like so hard shredding it and you can get hurt shredding it. In a small bowl, I'm going to add breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, olive oil, and mozzarella cheese. This is my topping. The cheese and the olive oil are going to make the chicken brown, crispy, and delicious. So now you're gonna grab your thin chicken breast, salt, pepper, mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, and sour cream. The thinner the chicken breast, the better, because we're kind of making a pepperoni sandwich. And the bun is the chicken. Place half of the chicken breast on the prepared foil. Now we're gonna season it with salt and pepper. This is like sprinkling fairy dust. Now we're gonna sprinkle it with a half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. You wanna make sure you spread it evenly throughout the 4 chicken breasts. You don't wanna skip out on the cheese. My brother loves cheese, so I think I'm gonna give him a little bit extra. He'll thank me later. My favorite step of this whole thing, adding the pepperoni. So you want to add 3 pieces of pepperoni on each slice, each piece of chicken. What I love most about pepperoni is probably like it has like a little spice to it. It has like a little hotness. I love pepperoni so much. I even eat it for breakfast sometimes. And secretly, I try to sneak it into all of my recipes. Now we're gonna place the other half of the chicken on top of all of these pieces of chicken. Now we're going to put a thin layer of sour cream onto the chicken. This has a really good flavor, and it also helps make the breadcrumbs stick to the chicken. It's kind of like frosting a cake. Now we are going to put the breadcrumb mixture on top of the chicken. I like this breadcrumb mixture because it makes the chicken like nice and crispy. and it gives a different but good flavor. See, this is the magic of the sour cream because it's sticking perfectly. This is looking so good. I can't wait to eat it. Now it's time to put this in the oven. It looks great, but I can't do it since I'm a kid, so I need help from my dad. Dad! Now we're gonna bake that for 20 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to bake one of my most favorite side dishes, roasted broccoli.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
What do you see right now with Putin, and do you think he's a rational actor? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? The sanctions did not deter. Can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Fun fact, it is actually like when you get any vegetable and put salt, pepper, olive oil, and garlic powder like on top of it and bake it, it'll taste amazing. I actually won't eat broccoli any other way. I always make it this way and I love it. Now the first thing we're gonna do is cut the broccoli into florets, but you can also just pull them apart. And then you can have a parent cut it a little bit more after. Now that we're getting to the middle, I'm just gonna leave this for Mom. Mom, can you come help me?
Let's cut with the broccoli.
Make sure they're at a similar size so they roast evenly. Well, you're a fast cutter. Now, you're gonna add olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Now you want to mix this really well. And cooking can get messy, so do it with your hands. It feels like, I don't know, like, have you ever like felt foam beads for like slime? It feels like that, but like wet and a little bit like more like crunchy. You want to make sure they're in one row or layer, because if it's not, it'll just steam instead of getting all like crispy and delicious. It's time to put this baby in the oven, but I need help. Dad? Now we have to wait 10 minutes. It's starting to smell so good, so that's a good sign. I'm getting super hungry too. Look at how amazing this looks. It looks so delicious. The chicken, it looks so crispy and good, and the broccoli, the same. It looks very crispy and good. I imagine it in my mouth, tasting so good. All right, let's plate it. I'm gonna plate another one because I have a special guest. I can't wait until she arrives. She's gonna love this meal. Oh my gosh, perfect timing, she's here.
Oh my goodness, this is the chicken dish I taught you how to make. Peyton, it's beautiful. It smells delicious.
That's what you were sniffing when you just came in.
Oh, I can't wait to eat it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You did a great job. You make this exactly like I did.
Okay, let's see how it tastes.
Yours, I think, tastes even better. It's so delicious. I love sharing meals with you. Anytime. Even if it's not this dish.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I loved having you guys in the kitchen today. I hope you'll keep this recipe in mind and share it with someone special too. Bye!
Good morning. Outrage. A theater used to shelter civilians in southern Ukraine bombed by the Russians despite the word children written on the outside. This as President Biden labels Vladimir Putin a war